episode with Trump, that was one of the longest episodes that they've had there. To think that they have two of those meetings with Bill Gates, not sure what all you're talking about with a guy like that, but I'm sure Epstein is very much generally on the topic. And releasing this is not something they're going to do. But let's just be clear. I think Trump is in there. I think that's their hook.
You think Bill Gates went to the president and said, you think he was begging Trump to not release the files? Possibly. I know a lot of people on Wall Street that are begging for that. I mean, we hear them all the time. There's even been Democrats, like, this is the stupid part. Democrats in the House are saying, oh, let's release this. No. You guys are actually plotting to not release it because you're going to fucking judges through your PAC committees and Democrat chills to try to block the release of it. So I'm confused. With the Democrats, they really don't want it released because they know that it's going to excoriate them. They know that they have players in it. I mean, you're going to have Soros in there? Like, I mean, let's not kid ourselves up. You've got Soros, and there is a lot of people like that want to suck. They wanted access to that money. You've got, let me see. Oh, Kamala Harris, I believe, part of that inner ring. She's got some acquaintances in there because she was asking for money. California, you got Newsom. Oh, Nancy Pelosi. Let's not leave the queen of the big tits alone. Like, let's actually put her on display and say Nancy Pelosi is involved in Epstein as well, because you know damn well that woman is all a money whore. She went around and gathered money. She could whip her votes, but she could also collect money, and she was a good fundraiser. And she was his biggest, like, fucking draw. She went there and begged. She did everything. I'm willing to bet you there's probably a video of Nancy Pelosi going to town on Epstein. I'm sure Maxwell has that somewhere in the office. It's the only reason she's probably alive, is she's just like, I have tapes. I have proof of all of you guys. Don't fucking eliminate me. Otherwise, I release this shit.
Can't they seize it from her? Can't they take it from her and kind of force her?
I invited up the Simpson characters. I don't know who these guys are, so...
Brad, you do know me.
Oh. Well, okay. Simpsons characters. Why are you guys Simpsons? Like, just go by your name.
Are you kidding?
I do it. I'll just see. I've done it. So far, people have, like, gone on this app and said, like, horrific things about my daughters. You've got an Agent P who likes to go around on the app and say, oh, I was evicted from my home, which that never happened. Number two says that I murdered my wife. That never happened. So, I mean, I still stay with my whole name and my whole chest. So I look at people like Agent P and I just go, yeah, single cell amoebas that are troglodytes on the app. I'm like, they'll never do anything. They'll never achieve anything, and they'll never be listened to. I just look at their accomplishments and say, okay. You got the Aaron Burgers. He likes to do the same shit. He's another piece of shit. He goes around by dark now, and he's trying to pretend he's an angel, but for the longest time, he was Jew, and he was, oh my God, anti-Israel. He was in every room trying to clip every conservative for being or anti-Semitic, including this room. He was known to do that to conservatives in this room. And he thought he would have a fun day until he got clipped, until he got exposed, until he got caught lying with his whole fucking chest. And then it turns out he's, like, fraudulent, working for fake climate change fucking bullshit. So there you go. And then he brags about how, he sat in front of a dais and was like, I'm changing the world. And in reality, he was just scamming from the federal government, your tax dollars. Okay. So there you go.
But Brad, let's stipulate that people that use their real names are braver and stronger and more noble than people that are anonymous.
No, I don't say that. I just think that you should go through this world and stand with your name on it and be proud of who you are. You'll make mistakes. You'll fall. You'll have all families, all names rise and fall in this world. It's up to you to end it on a high note, and all of your mistakes are just badges of honor to carry with you. You don't learn from your victories as much as you do your defeats and your failings in life. And I'll never hold anybody back for failing. I'll never condemn you for that, but I will sit there and slap that hypocrisy label on you, and I will smack you like the little broke bitch boy you are if you try to come up and go to somebody or myself and say how great you are in comparison, and then all of a sudden turn around and find out you're one of the fucking pieces of scum that we really don't try to be. We don't really want to emulate, but you turn out to be one of those freaking pieces of scum that I hate.
Okay, I agree, but I've been on Clubhouse since the very beginning, and I've always used different cartoon characters. I've rotated through 50 cartoon characters, and I've always said from the beginning, people who use their real name are brave, and what proves that they're brave is there have already been 3 murders of people who use their real name. So people who use their real name are choosing to risk their lives for the right thing, and I admire that. But I'm not going to.
That's fine. But anyway, what was your point? Let's get back to the Epstein thing.
Yeah.
And who's Bart? Why does Bart have Will C upset? I know who Will C is, but
Okay.
Bart, why do you have Will C upset?
I don't. First of all, Bart is my. Let me explain how I access Clubhouse, Brad. I'm going to try to be very brief. I have a Verizon iPad and a T-Mobile iPad, and the reception on one gets bad. So that's why I always have 2 cartoon characters in each room. One is Verizon, one's T-Mobile. But I want to address the Epstein stuff. I think that, first of all, there are certainly a lot of pedophiles in both political parties, a lot of rich pedophiles in both parties. However, I think a neutral, honest, ethical person would say that of the people on the Epstein list, most of them didn't do anything wrong. Most of them just wanted Epstein to donate money to their pet causes. That's why the head of Harvard and the head of MIT was kissing Epstein's ass, not for pedophilia, but because they wanted his money. Now, we as a society have to figure out how do we deal with a list where we know, let's say 5 or 10% of the people are pedophiles, and we know 90% are innocent. And I don't know how to deal with that as a society, but that's what a grown-up conversation would be. I think a conversation that says every single person on the list is a scumbag who should be humiliated, I don't think that's a reasonable conversation, and I say that with respect.
I would agree with you if we were in a normal political environment, but it seems that it's solely focused. Like, I'm well aware that Trump was on the airplane. I'm well aware that Epstein has recorded and impugned and stated that, hey, let's stop at whatever his golf course is in New Jersey, and flew up there and went to go see Trump on a golf course. I'm aware that Trump didn't necessarily like Epstein. They ran in similar circles, but didn't really necessarily like each other. There was some disagreement or some disgruntlement where Trump threw Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago. That's been pretty prominent, and Trump hasn't really discussed on it. I am aware that Trump is the only one to sit down for a deposition. That's striking to me. That one is eye-opening and revealing if he's the only one to do so. He's also the only one named in depositions that's not partaking in the events. So far on the ones accumulated and on the list and in the Maxwell trial itself, he wasn't listed. So I'm confused as to why everybody seems to zero in on Trump and the Epstein. Like, he made the promise casually. He didn't really make a promise. He casually inferred to it. But even if he doesn't release the Epstein list,
Brad, let me try to answer you very briefly, okay? I don't think that any of the Epstein mud is going to stick to Trump, and I think it's for a reason that you've never brought up. To the best of my knowledge, you've never brought this up. The reason, and you're welcome to criticize me, but don't interrupt me, okay? The Democratic Party has a 20-year track record of inventing fake rape charges against Republicans, right? It's a very, very popular technique. The Democratic Party will find a Republican they don't like, they'll invent a rape charge. Obviously, they accused Trump of raping a woman in a dressing room, but more importantly, and it's easy for you to prove everything I'm saying, the Democratic Party decided to falsely accuse the Duke lacrosse players of rape. The Democratic district attorney knew they were innocent. He had ample evidence they were innocent, but he said, look, I'll get donations from rich Democrats if I prosecute these innocent people. So it has been absolutely proven that he knowingly prosecuted innocent little boys because they were Republicans and because it put money in his pocket. And then the final thing I'll say is you could Google a case called the Tawana Brawley case. In New York, the Democrats invented a false rape charge against some Republicans, and they were ready to put these Republicans in prison for life on obviously false rape charges. And you could go on and on and on. It's very easy for you to confirm. So I'm trying to be politically neutral. I know of zero examples of the Republican Party deciding to frame Democrats who are innocent of rape, but I know there's so many examples. So I think as Trump makes those cases well known, I just think none of this mud will stick to him, but I'm eager to hear people criticize.
Hey, Justice, how's it been? I haven't seen you in a hot minute.
How you doing, my friend? Yeah, it's been a while, man. It's been a while. Yeah, just jump back on Clubhouse to see what's popping, and hear the hot takes from some of the smartest minds. So then I came in here. No, I'm joking. So cool. Nice to be.
Good to have you back. We've had a lot of old school, like Clubhouse season 1ers and 2ers come back, and it's been interesting to see them come back onto the app. It's fall, it's midterm time. People are probably trying to figure out what's really going on in the rooms. I heard on your side of the pond, it's getting pretty dicey and exciting over there.
Dude, oh my God, like what the actual fuck, bro, like it's just insane. You know, I actually left the United Kingdom. I left. I've been living in Cape Verde. I've been living out in Africa for the past, I think it's about 12 months now, and I'm in Cape Verde at the moment. I'm probably gonna have a Jet 2 holiday to like the Asia or something like that, right? Because I just can't be bothered right now with what's going on. Like I just no, I've had enough. The United Kingdom is a third world country. England is a third world country. If you say it's fallen to shit, basically. Sorry if I'm swearing, people. It's fallen to this. The nation itself is just deteriorating just rapidly. And I understand why the native British people are upset. Like it's not rocket science. But again, Keir Starmer is a joke of a prime minister. And I think either reform or even the socialist might have some bearing in the next election. So I don't know. It's interesting. Like you say, it's quite.
Red, is it possible you would vote for Nigel Farage?
I would vote for Nigel Farage. I would vote for him. It's actually possible that I would vote for. I'm a conservative, right? But I would actually vote for somebody like what's his name now? The socialist, white guy, Jeremy Corbyn. Do you know what I mean? Just as a fuck you to that. I mean, I know you probably hate me for that. It is what it is. But, I mean, his policies do seem to be a lot more in line with actually helping the British people as opposed to just the corporate establishment or whoever, right? So, you know, and reform speaks for itself. I mean, reform are kind of like a British, they're like MAGA light. Do you know what I mean? It's like mega light, but I mean, it is what it is. So yeah, I would vote for either or at this point because Keir Starmer, who we knew was and is one of these pedos, or at least associated with the whole pedo ring that happens, that has been around since the dawn of time, if you would. Mainly speaking about what's his name? Jim will fix it. You know what I'm talking about, guys. Do you know what I'm talking about? The guy who's close to the crown. Right. And his association with that whole thing. It's just giving the whole. I can go on and I can speak at length for some time. So I'm gonna cut it here. All I'm saying is, look, the country's gone to shit. I would vote for the Reform Party because I think that they have the right idea. Back your nation, if anything. And I say that because that's how I would vote if I was, as a Nigerian man, if I was back in Nigeria, the country that wants to back, the party that wants to back its country, I'm going to vote for those people, especially when, you know, there's a shit ton of party. Anyway, I'm rambling, but yeah, you know where I'm going with that. I'm trying to temper myself. That's certain racist, but yeah, here's what it is.
Well, sorry you guys are going through that. You know, we kind of have ours. We're in the middle of ours, so you're at the beginning of yours, and we'll see how it goes. It looks like a lot of European nations are starting to go that way. Canada is in the midst. They're about to kick theirs off, so we'll see how that goes. Mexico is starting to realize that. So the U.S. is having a broader influence, and as more European countries start to get on board, it's going to start to spread a little bit more to a lot of other places that don't already have the similar kind of views that people are wanting. That's their pride.
But this is the thing, though, Brad. Right? I think nationalism has been allowed to kind of resurface itself as a not as a tool to be weaponized by the left, as they like to put it, to kind of position people as racists. You're seeing the same kind of philosophy happening right now in Africa, right? So a lot of the European nations, I listen to some of the conservative speakers, and one of them a few years back, I forget his name now, he was saying that there's that kind of resurgence of conservatism, of conservative values, of nationalism, of national pride in one station, kind of sweeping through Europe. And I could see that, like, for crying out loud, we've just seen seven conservative politicians, let's say, murdered, have been found dead in Germany. They're all right-wing. Like, what are we doing? We saw what was taking place in France again with the arrest of some of the, I think earlier on this year. Maybe I'm getting confused with another country. What I'm trying to say is there is this kind of
right now to go back to war against Israel. They've been talking about it for days. Iran and Israel, they're about to go back out, and Syria right now, they're about to go fight again.
Come on, Iran have already, played out its hand.
Oh, stop it. Stop living in a fantasy world, man. They got more ballistic missiles to give Israel, Tel Aviv. For.
Okay, I'm going to mute everybody for a second, guys. So, AR's coming back up, but he was saying what I was trying to say is that I don't like Israel, but I'm originally from Lebanon. I live in America because my grandfather was killed by the PLO when they were in Lebanon. You got the mic, AR. Everybody be patient. He has been patient enough to speak. Please don't interrupt him. Go ahead.
Thank you. Torn because I am an Arab nationalist, as I was raised to be, but don't.
Prison time in another leak core. I think that's it for the celebrity hood talk.
Gucci, I mean, Young Thug's been doing the most.
Oh, I see. Mom's boyfriend fatally shoots 16-year-old who was returning home through a back door after mistaking him for a burglar.
Oh, fuck.
Bet he won't sneak out no more.
Also, another video. Not a single woman was sitting at the White House meeting on women's health. All men. Sitting at a fucking table. All white fucking men. Sitting at a fucking table speaking on women's health. Interesting.
No, man. I mean, I'm sure there's a way to fund that, right?
What?
I'm sure there's a way to defend it, right? Isn't there a MAGA explanation for that somewhere?
Oh, we ran the magas off. You missed it. I pinged you in so you could see just dragging somebody, but you came too late.
I just asked him a question.
What was the question?
If he was good.
Or was it Jamal? Was it Jamal?
He didn't answer. It was E. Liddy.
Bruce Willis, I guess, reacts to the trolls telling her why she no longer lives with Bruce Willis. And, she moved to another home nearby with her kids during this, his dementia and stuff.
Hey, quick question for you, Mel, because you're on top of it, but anybody else as well. Did anybody see the high school catfish thing on Netflix?
High school.
Yeah, and it's had without National Guard support, and it's not going well. So two cities started two similar programs, one succeeding because of National Guard help. The other one in Philadelphia is not doing so fucking great. Now, granted, Philadelphia is a little bit bigger, but it's still not going great. And we're having issues there with kids going to school. Trump saying he's going to hit Chicago, possibly Memphis, and others. These are things I wanted to talk about because I think it is a concern. I do have concerns about National Guard being used and the way the left is trying to portray this. They're not coming in being authoritarian. They're not arresting people. They're not rounding up. They're just a show of force. And they're there as an assist in case of massive expression of violence. So, such as, gunfights or a criminal that's tackling and destroying 2 or 3 cops. They're there to lend assistance as need be and to provide I don't want to say passionate crimes or acts, I forget the term for it, but just like non-premeditated crimes, like fist fighting or something along those lines, trying to push people, hurt people, drug dealers from, again, going after children. These are things that we can kind of block with the National Guard who's watching right there. It's eyes on them. And you're not going to fuck with a guy. And they're not walking around with AR-15s or any military scary assault weapons. They have a 9mm, and that's the extent of it. And maybe some mace, I think, and a couple zip ties. Literally nothing more than what a police officer would carry. And I think these were good things. But today's news, we have the Epstein, and I'm going to post the article at the top. It appears the Epstein group, or at least some of the victims, are going to come together and release their own list. And I want to know what people's opinions are about this. I want to know why Democrats are really trying to toe a line on this and try to play it very finessing when overwhelmingly their biggest leaders, their biggest donors, their biggest prominent names in their party are going to be on this list. Like, let's not forget that Trump was a Democrat. He was a Democrat donor. This is literally the list, if there is one. This Epstein list is going to be a Democrat donor list. It's going to be something Nancy Pelosi walked around with, like going, who can I get money from in the midterms? That's how I see it. But I'm willing to take on any arguments. Remember, this is the political compass. I am conservative. I am biased. So are the owners of these houses. We make no qualms about it, but all opinions will be allowed to be up here. If you say some bullshit in the chat, I will smack you, or one of the other mods will smack you when they come in here, one of the administrators. Just know that I don't tolerate any anti-Semitism. I don't care what race you are, and I don't care who you call Sky Daddy. I don't care about if you're Muslim. If you're there, you don't want to hear my position on Israel and Palestine, because mine is completely different from everybody else's, and you won't like the outcome. And I don't care what country you're from. All I care about is the idea of this. So let's get this Epstein thing on the board. Since conservatives are consistently having to defend themselves over this, let's have this out. Should Trump release it? What do you think's on there? What do you think is really the holdup from just releasing the treasure trove of information? Did you get a chance to preview the 30,000 pages of documents that were just released? Are you excited, happy about it? So go ahead. Pepe, Alyssa, Joe, Red, go ahead.
Well, all I know is that it's so much more than they thought, that they have to go through many more.
I say brush bullshit. The exact same thing.
Think of something.
Anybody in the audience want to come up? You guys welcome to come. Hey, what's up, Bonnie? How you doing there, bro?
Hello, Anna. How are you?
I'm good, okay. How are you? We were talking about BBC, how trustworthy the news agency is.
Oh, not at all. Coming from a British person, yes, not at all.
I find it, a little bit, right? You could say they're pro-Pally like 25% of the time.
It's very seasonal, in my opinion.
Are you
They look at where...
Well, there's like Zionist supporters. The people throwing blood on the BBC in London. They support it. I mean, it's a government-funded news organization.
If it's government funded, why the bias though?
Who runs
But
the
they
world?
are
The state police.
Yeah, but don't they leave?
Jesus. Are you into like synthesizers, Moog? Is that what your name is, Moog or Moog? Are you like?
What's wrong with being a homosexual?
It's gay. What's wrong with it?
It ain't nothing wrong. Oh, they didn't have to have October 7th happen for that to happen.
No, they couldn't. They needed a reason. That's why BB set this whole thing up.
They had reasons before October 7th.
No, they didn't.
Obviously, no. Yeah, they did.
No,
they shot
didn't.
over 9,000 rockets into Israel in May 2021.
So
Did you
what?
forget
That's
about
not,
that?
Yeah, so what? And they
That's
killed
not a
no
reason.
one.
That's not a reason.
Yes, no one died.
Yes, people did die.
No, they did not, you fucking
Yes,
liar.
people died.
Go look at the casualties throughout the years of Hamas's missiles going into Israel. Guess what? Almost 95% of them get shot down by the fucking Iron Dome, you fucking liar.
So this is one of the largest.
Everyone knows that. Most Israelis get hurt because of the shrapnel. He's a fucking liar.
And where does the shrapnel come from? It comes from the fucking rocket, you idiot.
Yeah, they got shot down by the Iron Dome.
Well, what do you want them to do? Let the rocket hit the fucking house?
That's not the point. The point is that there is no mass. There has never been mass casualties because of Hamas's fucking missiles.
Fucking retard.
You are a retard. Stop trying to equate that those missiles caused thousands of deaths for Israelis. It hasn't. You're a fucking idiot and a liar.
Resistance, how many have died due to the rockets that Hamas shot
Can you
into
hear me?
Israel?
Probably less than 100. Probably. I'm gonna go do the research now.
Can you hear me?
Do it. Come back.
Hello.
And post it.
It doesn't matter if it was 100 or it's 1. It's still a fucking act of war. You don't shoot rockets into a sovereign nation. He doesn't understand that.
Yeah, I can't speak over people, but yeah, it's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. One of the biggest excuses I've ever heard that it's okay because Israel has the Iron Dome to defend itself, that it shouldn't be able to retaliate against anybody else because they don't have an Iron Dome. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid. Who says that Israeli couldn't respond? No one said they couldn't. You idiot.
Like you literally just said.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot.
So fine. Israel really should have just blown Hamas out. Should have just blown Gaza out of the water, just like pushed it into the ocean. Okay.
Much family left Lebanon because they tried to blame my family for the
Fire against the United States of America, Donald Trump.
All right, let's enact the 25th Amendment, take away his fucking phone, and that's it.
Yeah.
Amen.
Because
That's
this shit is the kind of shit that you're fucking drunk and stoned and you're tweeting from underneath your covers.
But there isn't a nation he didn't. Hold on, Alyssa. There's not a nation he didn't drone strike, and he drone struck an American without due process, waiving constitutional rights. So I have issues with Obama, like on his bullshit, but not saying he's gay or transsexual. That's just not me.
I think that's how Alyssa talks, just in her defense.
He knows who I am. He's just coming out on the other side, revealing who he really is. And he played a different part. He played a different character when he came on.
Different character. I'm the same guy. I call everybody a faggot till this day. Faggots, faggots, faggots.
You were pretty different when I met you 5 years ago. And
What
a different
changed?
stance, political.
What changed? Why also focus on
I don't want to change the subject.
Okay, so let's do this. We're gonna stop this. Not on my stage. Guys can go have the backroom chat. I don't know, Ludwig. Maybe you forgot to bring home the groceries. Alyssa, maybe you just, I don't know, forgot to remember his birthday or fishing trip. I don't fucking know. But whatever the love quarrel is, go have it in another room, come back, and, you know.
I would rather slam my dick in between the door.
Yeah, well, to each their own. But I don't want to have this kind of, like, crap on here, and I get bored with that stuff really easy. But let's go back to this Epstein thing. Is this what everybody wants to talk about? Because no one really wants to come on stage and really kind of add teeth to it. No one wants to have that deep dive discussion. So is that a negative, or, you can say you're concerned about pedophiles. You can say you're concerned about the kids. You can say a lot of things, but I'm just asking you to come up and offer your point of view, and I'll make sure everybody gets to hear it. Welcome, Duray.
Hey, Brad. How's everyone?
Good.
So this is just my wild supposition about how Trump did a 180 live in front of the press a few weeks ago about this issue, in the sense that he was promising it was going to be released, and so was his attorney general, and then when he was in front of the press, he tried to downplay it and redirect and all that, and then it became the big Democratic sticking point in the media for the next few weeks. And my wild supposition is this: they actually saw the meat of what was in there, and they realized that if this all truly saw the light of day in the fullest sense, that both parties are implicated, and it is such an existential threat to the existing order and all of the powers that be, that no Democrat or Republican would be ever elected again. And he was basically told that if you release this, our entire system will come down because they're all implicated. So I think he then had a choice. He could either do the misdirection and "are you still talking about that loser" kind of thing that Trump did in front of the press, or he could say, listen, it's a national security issue and we've made another decision not to release this information. The full meat of the list, and so I think he tried to do his little Trump shtick, and it sort of backfired at him for a couple weeks, but the public have short memories. The people will move on, and that's why I think they didn't release it.
All right, welcome, First Lady, and thanks, Joyce. I do have a question though, and here's my view, and for others that don't know, First Lady does run the political correctness room. I encourage you to go in there. I'm going to give this caveat. It is not always political or the discussions. Sometimes it's just mind-numbingly you're banging your head against the wall. But she does try to keep it on point. She's probably one of the best mods in there next to Patty. So these two ladies, when they're teamed up together and they have a point they want to attack, it's going to be on that point. Everybody else, I would just take with a grain of salt. But listen to what these two ladies say. As far as your view on this, I look at it in the market sense. We are aware that Epstein played around in the markets significantly, particularly Wall Street, and particularly in foreign, like the Houston exchanges, the Japanese, the Asian markets. He was all over the place. We're aware that he miraculously somehow put together billions of dollars, but no one knows necessarily where all those funds came from, how those sources are, so he had to make it up in where would be Wall Street's. My feeling is on the Epstein list is something akin to what you're hitting on. I think what we would see, it would be a huge financial collapse. Like, I think what we'd honestly find is that there's more money out there, probably hidden in accounts in Cayman or the Bermuda account papers and things along those lines. We'd find more of those. I think releasing this is an iceberg like that sunk the Titanic. And I think a lot of these hedge funders and financiers are sweating the most. And that's who's backing, like the Clintons. Clinton went to the island. He enjoyed having sex with underage kids. We're aware of that. Trump, so far, there hasn't been any indication. He's visited the island. He's been on the plane. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not saying that they didn't happen. It may have. Dershowitz, he visited the island. He was a lawyer. So, yeah, maybe there's some connection there. That should be concerning. The Prince Andrew of fucking England. We always knew about those, like, weak English princes. But, that's concerning as well. So, but I'm more concerned about the finance markets and the epic collapse it could unfold. Could you imagine Bank of America, Chase, Capital One, like all of those markets would just like gone right away without the leadership because those guys have been flown around. Could you imagine that?
Brad, you know, 2 days before this filth, Epstein got suicided, like I like to say it. You know, it is like magically while he was locked up, like a trust was being put up, and to that trust, like 577 million was deposited. Right? How's it even fucking possible? Is that possible in the United States? While you're like locked up, you can put a trust up and deposit money. Not like $20 or something. $577 million.
Yeah, I think
that is just. I mean.
So I'll say this: like the Epsteins of the world, they don't circulate with people like me or you or where is she? Even the most elegant first lady. We're not those people. We're not even on their list. You could think you're all that in a bag of chips. First lady's very attractive. Joe B's attractive. She may think she's prominent. She's not. She's not Epstein level prominent. We don't run in those circles. That circle is really small, really tight, and it's really finessed. And there's usually two factions, a little bit on for the cameras and for the public, but generally it's all one circle underneath, and it's literally that 1% of the world. Trump, Epstein, they radiated around that. They ran in those fields. They're with them with the Buffett and the Soros and the Bill Gates and et cetera. Give me the other ones. The princes from whatever Nigeria that only needs $5 million to or whatever needs $500 to reach $500 million, and you'll get your gems and your stones. Like all of that shit. These guys don't operate around us. We're their market. We're their cash. They're looking at us as like, how do I get their money into my pocket? How do I do that? And they are looking at us that way. We're their cattle, so to speak. We fight their. We build their skyscrapers. We build their homes. We build the highways. We give them water. We fix their food. We clean their apartments or homes. We make their cars. We do all that. They don't. All they do is fund us with money, and we partake in that society, and then they try to figure out a way to get that money back. These guys don't fucking operate normally, and it's so small. I would expect, like in Epstein and Clinton's, they all run, and those politicians, those are all just parasites on them. These guys are all the shakers and movers in the world, to be fair. I'm not throwing any conspiracy out there. They just are. Go ahead.
I'm chomping at the bits to give two famous people quotes to illustrate your point that you just made. George Carlin, it's a small club and you ain't in it. And then Dave Chappelle to an audience, y'all just think you're white people, but you don't actually meet the real white people until you make $100 million.
Wait, is even in that circle 100 million a lot of money?
I mean, it was a joke.
I'm not
get
thinking
the point.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's too weird, man. Like if they can't release that list, right, it gotta be really fucked up. Right? Like even the house of Epstein, right? $80 million mansion, the most expensive house in at least in the upper north of New York, that he got for $1. You know, then you got our dear friend from J.P. Morgan that wired him, I believe it was $150 million. Like, what the fuck do you know that somebody's like, okay, here comes the money?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand.
That is it's got to be super fucking dark, man. Darker than hell, if you ask me. If somebody's like, yeah, I'm gonna send you this money, right? And we're not talking about $50 or $100. I think it was $150 million. By the way, Jeffrey Epstein's best friend, Jean-Marie Luc, was locked up in France, arrested, suicided in the same way as Epstein. I don't know anybody knew this, but it's got to be really messed up. That's where I'm at, but whatever the fuck that means to me.
I hear you on it, and I don't discount the facts. Like, I mean, there is some. I firmly believe Epstein was killed. I don't buy it. But I want to get First Lady in here because she's just sitting here quietly, acting all cute and stuff. First Lady, what do you think about this? Where do you think this is going to eventually end up?
Love Vic, don't laugh at him. He's crazy.
I know. He can't afford his medication anymore.
I can't afford my medication. What are you talking about?
Fuck you, Brad.
No, you know, Brad, I really and truly, I don't know. I just feel like, you know, I was listening to some of the ladies today and, you know, to hear this started when they were 14 and now they're this age. You know, I'm glad that they are getting the reprieve that they need. I'm just really afraid of what might come out. I don't know. I'm just, I don't know. I just wish that maybe they could just pay the women. Like, did they get any payment from this, or like, is there a way to compensate them? I don't know. I don't. It's scary. It can go really bad. That's what I think. And you know me, I'm always trying to avoid conflict. So whatever leads us to peace is where I would like for us to be. I don't know that this is going to be that. I just wish they would never open this mess up. And what is the conversation about when they say Biden didn't do this and so on? I don't know, because I never really thought that it would ever come out, to be honest with you. So now that we're here and it's getting closer and closer and people keep pushing, I feel like they're just going to open up a can of worms that can't be closed.
I agree with you. I think the more people that push this narrative and push, you know, what you're not going to like this, and for the people on the left, and I know, lady, like primarily your room runs on the left, they should be very cautious about their Trump's the pedo, because it could come out. Trump may have like screwed an underage girl. Could have. He didn't do it in Epstein Island because he ain't been there. Like, at least that's so far. We learned that from the Maxwell files. We learned that later on, allegedly, or at least documented and under deposition and all these things. And Maxwell said under oath, in order to be transferred, and all of these things that she has in motion to be kept alive, she said that Trump's not partook in any of those events, and that wasn't at Epstein Island. So if Trump's not been there, and he's only been on the plane a couple of times, there's a possibility he could have done something. Probably, maybe, I don't know. But I'm saying there's a lot more likely when you have like Michael Jackson's name up in there, when you have Bill Clinton's name, and you have, you know, the Juanita Broderick story that still won't go away because she still didn't get satisfaction. That's coming out. So I'm saying that Democrats should really be kind of like stopping the ants, because that's going to affect a lot of their donor base. Like Schiff's name's up in there, that circle. Like he was brought up in there. A lot of Californians, Pelosi, she's going to be thrown in there. Probably her husband. That name's going to probably drop. I mean, these are players. Like that market's going to swirl around it, and that's going to be their lasting legacy. And the more you hope for it, which I'm all for it, let's see it, but I mean, you may not like the results. That rubber band has a way of springing back on you.
But you're saying the Democrats, but the Republicans are the one that's pushing for it. Marjorie, she was right up front today. She was right at the press conference. She was smiling and everything. She had a cute little outfit on. So the Republicans are pushing just as hard as the Dems are pushing for this.
Yeah, MAGA's been pushing for this for a while because they believe it pretty much destroys the DNC, which I would say it is an agreement. Like even the photos with Trump and Epstein, you look at the dates, yeah, he's going to be around Epstein because, again, those were donor events, donor organizations, donor parties. You see a whole lot of people there that are donating money for the DNC. Those are fundraising dinners. So, yes, Trump's going to be in the vicinity of Epstein, and because those were donor lists. But what I'm saying is, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, I really wish we could get rid of the AOCs and MGTs. Or MTGs, I don't know, whatever, butch bad built bodies they have. I wish we could just get past them and actually just prosecute who we need to. But Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to have a point. She's going to be in this. She can go out front, and she represents a good, significant portion of MAGA, and she's going to go to the tube because they want it. They want it. That's who really wants it, not the whole Republican list, because they also know there's a lot of financiers that they have to go to for money. And that's going to hurt. That's going to really hurt.
Did you listen to Marjorie Taylor Greene last week on the Meg Kelly show? It was either last week or the week before.
No, I'm sorry. You'll have to give it to us. I'll listen to it now if you have it, or if you just want to recap it.
Well, she had her for the whole hour. It was just a one-on-one interview for the whole hour. So they went through a range of topics. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, I've never heard her sound more with it and current and smart and, in a way that it goes against the popular perception of her. So it was a great interview.
Do you want to give us what did she say on it, in relation to this point, or?
About the Epstein stuff, I don't remember specifically, but I would still recommend the episode.
Okay. Right. But I'm still wondering, because when I look now, even the list of the statements by the survivors today, with Marjorie Taylor Greene there, I'm looking and I'm like, I mean, you got Massey filing the discharge position, Ro Khanna wants to vote to compel the Justice Department to release all of them. But when you go to look at some of the antics by Democrat PAC committees, you see, First Lady and Derisive, you see some actions that I don't know. Why are you going to judges to try to block releases? I don't. You're saying you want this, but then there seems to be dueling fights within both parties. And apparently one lower tiered ranking side, I would say Marjorie Taylor Greene's and Massey's, who aren't normally at the leadership tables, they're fighting for something. And the upper tier is saying, shut the fuck up, sit down. You don't understand how much this will financially ruin or impact us directly, and how many people are actually going to be caught up in this. It's going to be the movers and shakers. It's going to be Hollywood, and it's going to be kings and queens of other countries and parliaments of other countries, that are going to be involved in this. And that's what I honestly think.
Yeah, that has to be part of it too. Just that they would have to spend a ton of political capital to release this, and probably not receive any huge benefits to them, and it would probably upset many of our allies also.
But what I'm saying is, Marjorie Taylor, I'm trying to think, Trump could drop this on his last day in office, just automatically release this all the way out. I wonder if he's using, and I'm going to say this, Trump is really good at branding and marketing. He knows how to play these hit pieces. A lot of people have forgotten that when, the Billy Bush tape dropped, people said that was the end of Trump. His popularity dropped, blah, blah, blah. Then the next thing you know, Trump comes out on stage with all of the victims, all the rape people, right in front of the Bill fucking Clinton, and basically slaps that in there. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at this and going, is Trump using this to gain leverage over the midterms and to use it as a political capital tool and trying to draw it out so that he can hurt certain Democrats? Or is he trying to draw it out to hurt for the 2028 election to make sure that who he picks is the successor, and he drops that bombshell onto whoever? So someone like Newsom or somebody who may be involved could end up, in a lot of trouble. I don't know. What do the rest of you guys think? You're all in the audience, really quiet. Usually you come up on stages. What's going on today?
Is it my presence? It's me. That's wrong.
Nah, it's not you. It's just something's weird today. This topic alone, people don't want to touch.
I don't. I want to avoid it as much as possible. I think the more we talk about it, the more people get excited about it. Everybody was foaming at the mouth. All the Epstein shows coming at the eyes, coming at the mind. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. So people just, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. I've heard people come to me, Trump's a pedo. Really? Where's that conviction case? Where's that proof? Where's that? Well, I don't have anything, but he won't release the files. There's lots of reasons why presidents don't release the files. Fuck. Obama didn't release a shit ton of files. We asked for the JFK files, and those never got released. That was starting. We asked for the Iran-Contra files. Those never got released. That happened under Clinton. So, I mean, we always have files that are never always released. We always ask for information. Presidents promise something, partially deliver. Most of the time, don't deliver. And we're stuck holding the bag. And then we just move on to the next big shiny thing. I don't know. This one seems to be plaguing Trump a little bit, but I think it's also due to his own action. And part of me really wants to think he's using it as a marketing tool. It just screams of that from his prior antics, lady.
Well, that's the scary part. I'm like, well, why would you even do this? Why would you play around like that? Now, I don't know. Do you think that the previous presidents actually saw the files? Like, they really know what's in it? Like, the names and everything? You think that?
I think some of them know who's, like, here's what I think. I don't think there's an actual list. Well, there may be a list. There's at least incriminating evidence out there. There's something out there. Otherwise, Maxwell would be dead. Like, let's call it for what it is. She would have been killed. I don't believe Epstein hung himself with a sheet. That stuff's not really happening. And I think, honestly, there's something that's at least evidence enough that protect her and give her some kind of leverage against other people. I also think, in terms of it, I think some of the events and some of the parties are much like a P. Diddy party. A lot of people that were there, they got oiled up, they saw who was around, and just like when P. Diddy went to trial, a lot of people out in P. Diddy's orbit and network got fucking nervous, and they continue to get nervous, and they acted nervous, and they weren't necessarily, clean cut, and they're like, oh my God, I did this. And they started running. They deleted their social media. They did all sorts of weird things. I think the same thing. A lot of people know who is there at certain parties. I mean, who's not going to remember? I'm going to be honest. Like, someone's going to remember having like some kind of orgy with Bill Clinton. I'm just saying there's going to be people there. You know what I mean?
There was a young lady today at a press conference saying that she went on a trip to Africa.
I didn't hear you, hon. What was that?
Sorry, I'm out in the field today. There was a lady at a press conference today saying that she went to Africa on a trip to Africa with Bill Clinton.
The lady, you mean one of the speakers? They're
Yes.
going to release. Yeah, they're going to release their list. Marjorie Taylor Greene's going to do it, and Massey is filing a right to petition. So there's a couple things going on in terms of the Epstein file. It's just, with all the shit in the world, I'm with First Lady wherever she went. She disappeared. I'm with her on this one. Like, it's not my big, like, it's an issue. I definitely would like the people prosecuted, but they're going to escape justice. Again, we don't hobnob with it, and we're asking the people who make the rules, who broke the rules, to somehow be accountable to the rules. Just doesn't seem to ever work out well for us. So I'm less than hopeful. So Epstein hasn't consumed me like it has others, but apparently there's going to be some headway. Marjorie Taylor Greene is taking up the fight, and she's got a vocal piece, and she'll be on every news network screaming about it. So my personal belief is that woman doesn't do anything without Donald Trump say so. I honestly believe Trump's using this as a marketing tool. That's where it comes down to. I don't think he's actually anything what the left is ascribing him to be and putting out in the narratives. I think he is quite basically playing bait and switch, and he's going to like reveal something, and he's going to be like, told you. Yeah, he flew to me. Yeah, I flew on his plane. He flew on mine a couple times, but nothing bad happened. Here are my witnesses. Here's the evidence. And oh, by the way, here's a list of all the people that were raping little kids. And he's going to just throw it out there, and it's all going to be Democrat and financiers, and it's going to be that shit show.
Brad, you're 100% correct, and I predict in probably 5 hours, maybe 24 hours, Adam Shifty Schiff and others will say, Donald Trump's administration violated a court order and released the files. They weren't supposed to release the files. This is breaking the law. And they'll say that. It's like, well, didn't you say you wanted the files released, and what was Trump hiding? And now that he released them to Congress, and Congress released them, now you're mad? Like, it's the most genius play because Congress released them, right? And DOJ just complied with what Congress asked. So, I think more will come out, and it'll be like, oh shit, because Dems probably thought, Trump can't release it because DOJ is the courts or the judiciary is stopping them from releasing it. So therefore, we can keep tying it to him, and we can win the midterms. And now Trump is like, hey, we're releasing it to Congress. They're going to release it, and they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I've just seen Trump do stupid things like this. Like, well, it's not stupid because he's actually a genius. I've just seen him dangle like a lure in front of people, and people like bid on that really hard, and then he's marketed. Like, the motherfucker got shot and still had the wherewithal to put his fist in the air. I mean, you can't, like, that's going to be iconic. Literally, there's going to be a statue. I promise you this. There is going to be a statue someday of Donald Trump, or there's going to be a coin, or there's going to be something. And it's going to be Donald Trump with the Secret Service grabbing at him and him holding his fist in the air. And there is going to be something said, because that image was super powerful. It cemented his legacy for all time. This, again, like, the man is just, it just seems he does these things and he just lets them nibble, and then when they swallow the hook, he just like goes, let me show you how you got caught. And then he lays it out there. And he's done this too many times. I don't get it. Like, his immunity clause, no one thought he got that passed, but he did. So, what else you got?
Did you see NBC? The NBC, I think they met some of the victims and they did this sit down. They said, the President of the United States, did you see his name mentioned in any inappropriate acts or anything? And they all said no. Did you see that video, Brad? And they all said no, we haven't. And the host was shocked. She was like, I think it was today.
Yeah, and that's not the first time Trump has sat down with the deposition. So, I mean, I'm always confused by this shit, like, where people think, Trump is this one. And the left going out and screaming, oh, Trump is the pedo. You can't. You don't have it. You don't have the evidence. Just like people are saying, oh, he's a rapist. Okay, where's his conviction for rape? Oh, you mean the tale where he had to pay, and that's still going through all of its areas? Had to pay that woman for her 20-year late attack, where she made a story up about how he bought out an expensive market store in New York City in the middle of the week, told everybody to leave, and then somehow grabbed her, threw her in a changing booth, and forcefully entered her. And you'll have Democrat shells saying that this occurred and this is rape and proof positive. But magically, there's no cameras. The woman never reported, which, to be fair, women oftentimes do not report all incidents of sexual assault. But then this woman sits there and hides under a Democrat shill PAC person who's backing up anything anti-Trump, and gets her to pay for her entire lifestyle, pay for her lawsuit, then petitions the Democrats in New York State and City to change a law so that they could go after Trump and file this to extend it and not approve it for anybody else, and then retract the law. I have an issue with this. When we're just making up laws to target somebody, this just seems like theater. And it's not the first time Democrats did this. They did it with a Supreme Court pick. I think Trump just plays them, and then he's got to do a coup de grace soon, because, I mean, the Democrats are really swallowing this hook, and they're about to eat it. And I don't know why he's waiting so long to pull the trigger, but I think, go ahead.
So, excuse me, please pause. Your title, Epstein Files, looking like a DNC journalist. What does that mean? Has any names on the side? I've been traveling and I'm out in the field today, so can you explain the title?
Yeah, so Epstein, the victims held a conference today. There was some movement. There's going to be 30,000 files released today, or 30,000 documents released today, or maybe yesterday they were dumped. And then Massey's going to petition for a right to pursue. Then you have and Marjorie Taylor Greene going through. And it looks like the list, or what people are calling out the names, it seems more like prominent Democrats, like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, except for Donald Trump and Ellen Dershowitz. You got Copperfield, Jean-Luc Brunel, French modeling scout, Michael Jackson. These are all Democrat primary players. And then you have the list from the Gouffre lawsuit against Maxwell. And that listed out some prominent movers and shakers in that orbit. And let's not forget, Trump at that time was a Democrat. So, I mean, the only one that was really surprising to me was, Hawking. I'm a little confused on that one, but even he was thrown into that list of names. So there seems to be a lot going on in terms of movements with the list, and I just wanted people's take on it, to offer me anything about the Epstein files they wanted to, okay?
Now, we as a society... Do you think any sitting members of Congress are going to be named in those? I think Nadler's on it.
Well, also you're going to have to look at what's going to become under scrutiny, and then, as a society and public is going to have to say what would be deemed okay to be associated with him or not, to include donations. Schumer received a lot of money from Epstein, which I'm sure a lot of other sitting congressmen have as well. So are we going to then give the guilty by accepting donation of Epstein to be an issue or not, so to speak?
Medical misinformation, even if it's true. So. Oh, come on up, Moose. I know you have something to say. Who's A Solomon? And S is back, Alyssa's back, Ludwig. Oh, Patricia's here too. It's all good. Everybody's coming out. This is about time.
Hello, Mr. Broad.
Hello. What do you think about all this?
I think, forgive my English first, but I think it is not blue or red case. It's the whole nation case. And it's related to JFK assassination and what comes out after this assassination. The whole United States of America came under a gang rule from the White House, take its independence into a very, very, very bad passage. You are now just discussing the results of this. Say this of, you can describe it at like a very long crisis. It's really hard to describe it by time, but you can take it by events. Year after year, the United States came under very tight control of a real gang, has its rule. And its rule now is coming in opposite with the real constitution of the United States of America and what were being the end of the independence wars. It's a very historical case because the United States of America, it's the states, many states were in a war for long years, and they has ended with a deal. The West and the East and the North and South, they got a deal to make a real one country, big and strong. They got it. And so many presidents led this nation into a very, very good level of hegemony. They control themselves until they control the world. But in this very turning point in the history of America, after reaching a very high historical imperial, I don't know where it exactly, but I can mark it with Mr. Ford, who created Ford for cars. We talk about this point. When they control the press, control the police, control the foreign affairs, control everything. And for last step, control the Congress. You can call them IPAC group as they will, yeah. But those guys has an opposite party right now. I can talk a little bit about them if I'm not taking anyone's part to talk.
No, like that's good for now.
I could try to that.
And forgive my English, please. I'm just.
No, you're fine. We understand.
Thank you.
No problem. Go ahead, mister.
Yeah, I think it's very rare, and it's fascinating how some people just walk out of their butts when it comes to regarding to foreign funding. I think we just heard someone who just blamed APAC, which is number 20 on the list of campaign funds. And these are the types of misconceptions that I feel like we generally continues to go through because of propaganda and misinformation that people just blab out, thinking they're right, even though nobody really could understand with his accent. And people, especially from outside the United States, would love to put pressure on Americans and tell them lies because for them, they just like to see Americans fight and cause that civil conflict within each other. And it's a prime example why foreign nationals shouldn't be really speaking about America. And in regards to the room title, Jeffrey Epstein, I understand what Jeffrey Epstein did was wrong, and did he have nefarious reasons or maybe blackmail people? I have no idea. But at the same time, we still see people glossing over themselves when they talk to tapes, where in reality they're still alive, still committing the crimes, and nobody's actually focusing on what's happening currently and dwelling on things that happened in the past where we can't really physically change. And maybe we can put some reparations to the victims. These are things that I don't even ever hear. It's more or less like who we're going to catch with their names rather than giving the victims who are the only people that are valuable in this conversation and giving them an opportunity for what they went through. And I think that's more or less what I really want to say, because in reality, there's these pedos all over the country doing all these types of crimes, and not many people even care. And to sugarcoat it on these elites, we know it happens. It's still currently happening, as you mentioned with P. Diddy. These things are way too rampant, and if we actually wanted to stop something, we should, and we should do it for the people that are alive rather than people that already died.
I agree with that. And what do you think is going to be the outcome of this, Mark?
I think it's a witch hunt. I think both parties are going to weaponize it, even though all elites are going to be on this list. We've already seen a lot of left-wing, Bill Clinton went into business with this guy for many different reasons, and I won't put anything past the Clintons. And to be honest with you, I don't think we'll ever. I think it's more like a red herring where people just like to talk about it, but it doesn't actually change anything down the line. Nothing would happen, even if we do know or we don't know anything. Nothing's gonna actually happen to your average Joe.
What would you think, like, on this list? Like, I mean, obviously there would be implications. Like, Epstein has his connections. You know, he's going to have a lot of, like, more liberal-minded. Like, you know, Merkel's Germany. You know, England, he's going to, like, we're well aware there's a prince on there. I'm pretty sure if there's a prince on a list to Epstein Island, I'm pretty freaking sure that there's going to be other more prominent leaders. There's, you know, going to be people from Israel, Egypt, well, maybe Egypt, I guess. You're going to have a lot of Middle Eastern connections there. You're going to have a lot of European connections there. You know, there's even the Trudeau connection. So all of this is starting to kind of, I mean, from a security asset, for national security, I do see that there's a danger in this, that this can spiral out of control if it's not actually done the correct way, which a lot of people will say that's not how we should do it. But, I mean, we really don't want to go to wars with a lot of nations, and we don't want to lose some of the things that we have going on currently and what we have built in the past to be implicated. Not excusing the behavior, but I mean, I just don't see how we're going to go snatch somebody from, say, Italy, or, you know, go snatch Prince Andrew. We're not going to get that person. You're not going to get justice from Prince Andrew. I'm just letting you guys know.
Exactly, Brad. This is why all along, you know, they investigate. If they don't tell you, the normal person, what the fuck they're doing. But, I mean, how far can they really go up to all of these high-profile individuals, right? And heads of states. I mean, it's just wild. It really is.
Mari, what do you think?
I wouldn't give up the intel. In reality, if I have something like Prince Andrew, I'll go to them and be like, I'll expose it, and I'll get it. I'll get something out of it if I'm the United States and have that information. That's my personal. I'm more interested in who's not on that list. Who knew to stay the hell away, and not because they knew, because they're not sick like the people on the list, but more like, I know what's going on. That's more interesting to me than anything else, because yeah, there is Ehud Barak, Israeli Prime Minister, is on that list. Things like that, like especially when I hear, Israel and Mossad, it doesn't make sense. Israeli politicians and government wouldn't be openly with the person if they knew he was a spy that's collecting info and gonna eventually blackmail, which we all think end up happening with this list. So I'm more interested in who's not on the list, who knew what was going on and didn't say anything, because there's no way Russia's KGB isn't sensing that something's weird happening with all these world leaders with this one particular person. And that's more, I feel like more agencies knew what was going on and probably weaponized it for themselves too.
So it could be used as a security asset going forward to leverage potential political partnerships or use of threat.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think Russia, KGB would weaponize the crap out of it. They would get a sniff of it, and they'll use it for their advantage. And do we know any Russian politician or Soviet Union politician was on the list? I don't think we ever even hear a peek of it.
Hey, Patricia, I gotta take a call real quick. You guys keep going. Feel free to deviate to another topic if this one just draws out and nobody really wants to comment, because it does seem to all these Epstein ones, once you get past the attacks and you start getting to the meats and potatoes, they just seem to die out because even those that are on the left, they just go Trump's a pedo, and that's all they got. He won't release the Epstein, so that automatically makes him a pedo, which when you start diving into the facts and start naming the people on it, then all of a sudden they don't want to talk about it, and that becomes an issue. Let me take this call real quick, and I'll be back in like 5.
Okay. Anybody new on stage that wants to talk about this subject that has not spoken yet? I believe it's Justice or Michael or DJ 58.
I guess I could speak about it. I feel like there's a lot of assumptions where people just come to the conclusion that there was a giant ring. I mean, there were 3 people, I think, who Jeffrey Epstein abused, right, who testified against him in Congress. I hear people say things like thousands of people. It's like the biggest ring ever. That's just a lie, you know? I would be interested if there's like real evidence of that, then I would be interested in it. But it just seems like people have just built and built and built on this. And it's to the point that like when you know the Democrats, right, this has always been kind of a Republican talking point. When you know the Democrats are at the point that they just keep repeating it, you know that they're cynical about it, right? Like the only people that we know who may have been, you know, visiting the island are like far left Democrats, right? From both America, the UK, Israel, you know, all the countries involved, it's their left, right? They're liberals. So if there's anybody that's involved, right, it would be the Democrat Party for sure, right? But they're out there saying, release everything. Makes you think that, oh, okay, they're just calling us retarded, you know, like, and just like throwing it back at us, you know? That's what I think, but you know.
Yeah. It's kind of like a cyclical pattern that doesn't make sense, and that's why it's confusing to the public. So, you know, we have the alleged Epstein survivors. They had a big press conference today, and they urged Trump to release the names. But even though they say they already know the names, but won't tell us what the names are. So how does that make sense? And then sorry, I'll let you go next. But again, Michael, so why did they not do this 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right? It doesn't make sense. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to agree with you. I mean, of course, like, you know, just like you're saying, is now, quote unquote, the Democrats pushing for it, right? The Democrats are saying release it. When they were in power, you know, couldn't release it. Or they didn't release it, right? They didn't talk about it, which again, you know, adds more of like, oh, okay, if the Democrats were the ones who had something to do with it and now they want you to release it, okay, you know, it happened under Obama, right? So like, it's like, how if there is a list, like, has it been messed with? You know, like what's going on now? You know, it just seems like so out of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like we are now, since it's been so long and that it's changed administration hands, how much of that list has been tampered with and how much actually can be validated via truth instead of bloviating to be one political side or the other. I think, it's just my personal opinion, I think they're on both sides of the aisle that will be attached in some way, shape, or form with this. You know, predatory behavior is not just Republican or Democrat. They're just sicko humans. What I worry about is that there won't be two things. They'll be weaponized in a way that any just guilty by association related to being in the exact same room with that person will be used as a narrative to demean people or to minimize their actual character or in that capacity. All right, so we have to be careful of that. And the flip side of it is that we actually minimize or also forget the potential national security assets that are attached to this, that if exposed would be a detriment to our overall agenda on our three-letter agency side. For those thinking that a three-letter agency is not attached or known to this years would be silly to even think that. Of course they Augustus, if you're there, what do you think about this?
Honestly, like, it seems to me that, like, this is just, basically, like, a way to undermine the administration and, create, like, a firestorm in the media. It's the perfect formula to do both. I really don't think that it's important to getting shit done, you know? If you want to go after sex rings, go after the cartels. You know? They're fucking putting razor blades in kids' mouths and raping them at the border. You know? But that's just my take. I think that, like, the administration pretty much has got themselves into quite a pickle with this. I think that a lot of it's bullshit, and that there's nothing really that we're gonna do or see that's gonna change anything. You know, it's like, how does this stop big pharma? How does this stop big food? How does this stop big ag? How does this stop big tech from slowly but surely and systematically stripping you of your rights, stripping you of your livelihood, stripping you of your health, stripping you of your dignity? This is a distraction. A big distraction, in my opinion. A lot. And there migrants or illegals that have come over the border. Where are we at with that?
Well, I don't know the latest figure, but the last that I saw, they were able to, the current administration was able to locate, I think, close to 1,000 children that have been brought into the U.S., not separated from their biological families. So I think they are trying to make headway, but you make a very good point. Like, what good would this come out of it other than just the obvious per se? Like, is this a distraction? And I don't know. I think what's frustrating a lot of Republicans is the fact that we ran on this. Yes, we'll release it. Yes, we'll release it. But nothing that has been released, or in my opinion, that will further be released, would be good enough for the Democrats or anyone that's looking for the release of information. Like, they're actually looking for a little black book with some sort of mafioso or some damn Rubio, clients that did this and the actual terrible acts that they did. Right? I don't know that it could exist. Maybe it could not exist, but
I think that you make a.
Go ahead, Michael.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think you make a really good point. I also, though, I would just say that I didn't vote for Trump over the Epstein list. I voted for Trump because I wanted to close the border, and deport people and, fix things that Biden had done, right? And Trump's doing those things, right? He's doing all the things he promised. The thing about the Epstein list is yesterday they released like the subpoena documents from like the grand jury or whatever from something, right? So they released all the court documents that they have, which normally they don't do that. But the reality is the court documents are not going to say what everybody is talking about right now. The court documents is just going to talk about whether or not these people who, it's focused on the victim, as all court documents are. I think that there are probably some public people named on planes, right? But it doesn't necessarily, unless I'm wrong, I doubt that the documents necessarily incriminate those people, right? And they're probably not out there, right? At least in like the court, right? What I'm trying to say is I don't see like, from like, the Republican perspective, if there is a list, and it's hidden, we're gonna get it from the court documents, right? If there isn't a list, then we'll never get it and nobody will be happy, right? So there's no way to win, right? Yeah. But what's most important is Trump is delivering on the things that he said he would deliver on, right? And people were saying, but the Epstein list, like, well, Trump ran on XYZ. He ran on closing the border, which he closed day one. He ran on his big, beautiful bill, which he passed, right? And he ran on, like, restoring freedom to Europe and other things, right? And, getting out of wars, which he's already ended 7 wars, by the way, so that's just my, I really like Trump, but that's my opinion.
Also, Michael, if you think about what the Epstein list is like, okay, we put a label on what a lot of people actually voted for was just overall better transparency from our 3-letter agencies, right? I think the Epstein list kind of just holds that labeling to ensure, the people are reminded that the government works for us and safety and protect us. It's not going to be weaponized and used against us or weaponized or used to protect other people. So when Trump was running on that, at least that's what we were saying, what we wanted to hear is like just transparency. Again, why weren't these today 33,000 pages of that part of that file released? Well, why wasn't that released a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? They could have. Obviously they could have, but they didn't. And then someone added in the chat, did anyone mention the victims here? They'll release the names themselves. Yes, we said that. We talked about that early, Dottie. So this is the confusing part. Why would they have, why would the Epstein survivors do a press conference asking for the names to be released by the president when they already have the names of of those who were attached to Epstein, but they haven't shared them yet? That doesn't make any sense to me. It's kind of like a cyclical pattern. So yeah, we did talk about that earlier. Let's go ahead, Anthony. I saw that you wanted to join the conversation.
Hey, KK, I hope all is well. Brad, I hope all is well. Thank you for inviting me to the stage. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, I'm tired of the Epstein files. I'm tired of this Epstein nonsense. I think it's a useless conversation. I'm happy to have any conversation. I'm not above, any conversation, but it's like, I think it's a distraction. And, it's like Ghislaine, she could obviously shed a lot of light, but, she's already compromised. So it's like, to actually get to the honest to goodness truth, I don't see it happening. I think that a lot of the players, they're not as influential as they were, it is what it is. That's my take on this whole Epstein nonsense.
Could you accept that the Epstein stuff is nonsense, but it's helpful for American politics to have all the idiots in America distracted for the next year on the Epstein stuff might actually be good?
Well, you know, it kind of depends, man. I think that, you know, right now, Trump is using shorthand to get through his policies. It's unfortunate. He's got to use the executive order, you know, sleight of hand, shorthand, whatever you want to call it, to you know. But if we could get some traction in the midterms, and we could actually, you know, really institute some stuff, you know, that would be great. But I think that we're going to feel a period of pain on the way to things getting better. And I think people are going to equate that pain with Trump. And I think the Democrats are going to get a toehold in the midterm elections.
I think you should consider the possibility that the discussion of the Epstein stuff is crowding out something that could be really destructive. So what I see is there's a bunch of idiots that want to be angry about something, that want to protest something, and it's almost like the Epstein stuff, it's a very safe distraction because no matter, let's put it this way, like no matter how angry people are about Epstein, it's not going to cause the deportations to slow down, right? And no matter how angry they are about Epstein, it's not going to cause a slowdown in the things that really matter. So I could almost say that it's helpful. It's just helpful for our society to have something that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't matter, to distract the idiots, while what's really important in our society is able to happen without interruption. And I'm eager to hear criticism.
I hope you're right, boy.
Well, what's it? Hold on just a second, and I'll let you guys have it. What's interesting is like, okay, we're holding on to it. It's the fact that, and I think the fact that the Democrats are holding on to this so hard is because what else do they have, right? What else do they have? So they're like, oh, this is a salacious topic. They haven't done exactly what Trump said we would do. They've done a bit of it, but not all of it. So then they're able to go back, see, you didn't uphold the reason why you voted for him. But again, if you would have brought up the fact that, okay, he's released more than the last administration before, but the Democrats are so silly that they're not even taking a proactive measure or actions to be able to combat anything that Trump has done. If you go online and say, what are the top things, top platform items that Trump ran on, and go down the list of the items that he has not addressed yet within his first 8-9 months of office, then you are proactive with that. They're lazy, and they actually are still running on everything Trump bad man, that orange man, that they're desperate for something that's low-hanging fruit, very salacious to distract, you know, but they can't admit to the fact that he's covered probably over half the items he ran on. So here we have a politician actually taking action upon the things that he's running on, and they're fucking frustrated with that. But they're so silly, and they are so focused on one little thing to make him appear bad in any way that they are, that they're not even looking at the things that Trump hasn't even addressed. Like one of them is he said that we will protect innocent lives. So that's attached on abortion. When's the last time we've heard anything about abortion? In quite some time in the news cycles. Not much at all. So I'm going to go on mute. Welcome to the stage, Pepe and John. If you guys would like to join. Oh, and a new Pepe returns profile just added to that Pepe. And I know that man. All right, so I'll go ahead and let other people speak.
I'm just going to interject. I'm back now. I'm just going to say this. For those of you, I know a lot of you, you guys come to rooms and all this stuff and love political discussions. But Jane, I'm going to highlight you every time you come into our rooms because you sat in a room with Edmund, also known as John Kitover,
Oh,
and
no.
said how great it was to go after my work, and you gave him all that. Yeah, you give me the thumbs up. So Jane is a, since you don't mind doxing and releasing it, I want you to hear some of the things that actually happened. So my daughters received threatening calls. My daughters ended up getting messages somehow nefarious, telling them that they were going to be raped. Oh, she left? She didn't want to hear about my daughters being raped.
No, Miss, protect all women. Protect the women.
Yeah,
Doesn't
she
care
didn't
about
do
the
that.
consequences to certain women.
Oh, so Brad, you were doxxed in real life. I'm sorry, I've been away, so just share with. Go ahead and just speak it on the audience.
Her and Edmund held a room and started releasing my work info, and then saying they were going to call the FBI and all that, because Edmund, who you guys don't know is John Kitover, is running a fake political scam on Clubhouse. So please don't donate to him. He and you have to give your information up. Like, understand that there's like legalities you have to jump through to actually give that idiot money. So he decided to open a room because I told everybody that this is a scam, this is a vile piece of shit. I would never vote for him, and he took offense to that, oddly enough, because I can say Biden, I would never vote for it. He's a vile piece of shit, and I consider him that, particularly after the Abbegate scenario. Apparently you can't say that to John Kitover because Jane gets offended. So she went into a room and said, "Oh my God, Brad's a horrific being. You should definitely go ahead and do this. I work in HR. Let me help you figure this all out." And so there's a nice, wonderful YouTube video. There, you can go to John Kitover's, one of his 25 different personality profiles on Clubhouse, and you can go check the video, and you can see Jane and some idiot named Kitty sitting up there and having a row at releasing my information and then posting it, which now has led to my daughters getting like interesting messages from a couple people who've dug that deep, particularly the one about rape. I love that. And you know what's really funny is these guys hid from names, but you had no problem doing that. Jane Rosenwade, who sits at home, who I could release her information all over this page, including your house address. So I could do that on the internet and create a problem and a stir for you, especially on Twitter. I could definitely release that. There's definitely sane people on Twitter that wouldn't retaliate at all. So that's how half of my issue there, KK, is that she came into this room thinking she could just hang out here, be kind, and didn't think I would call her out on it. And when I came back from the call, there she was sitting in the audience, and then she gave a thumbs up as if she was so proud of it. So that ugly fat cunt can fucking go melt off. I don't give a fuck if the worst of the worst horrific things have ever happened to humanity happened to that woman. I would smile and keep it moving, because that's how I feel. And you endangered my kids as far as I'm concerned, and now you're a threat. So, Jane, just know I would definitely be cautious in the future about me. All right, so let's go back to the discussion. We were discussing what? Apparently, that I don't care about kids, because KK, you brought this up earlier. 700 kids are being held. They were found in the United States, close to 1,000, but I believe the number was actually 700. And they're trying to be reunited with their parents from like Guadalupe and other countries. The Democrats filed a motion. This is how fucking retarded this shit goes. They filed to find a judge, multiple judges, to prevent the kids from being reunited with their parents who want their kids back. But the Democrats don't want to send them back to their parents. I cannot make this shit up. It's literally true. It's 100% true. You can Google this shit all day long. I'm not lying about this. I have no idea why a Democrat would like sign their name to something and then say, hey, let's find a Democrat-friendly judge to prevent this current administration from uniting kids with their actual fucking parents who happen to be in another country. That makes no sense to me. Somebody on the left needs to explain this one, because quite frankly, you guys only care about abortion, and you sure as hell don't fucking care about kids. So spare me with any time you talk about kids or school shootings, because you fuckers really don't give a fuck about school shootings. Or kids. You can say all you want to, but you don't. You don't.
Brad, I feel like you brought up like a really important point right there. Obviously what happened is terrible, and that the Democrats are stopping that. But I think the most important point is because whatever the Republicans do or go for, it doesn't matter what issue, you will always find Democrats to try to go against them. So like on these issues where it's like, who wouldn't want to reunite kids with their family members? And they were probably, you know, separated by like drug cartels or some horrible situation. Who knows what they went through? But you still find Democrats who are on the other side of this issue. And it's probably a 90-10 issue. You know, 90% of the people, it could be a 95-5 issue where 95% of the people in the country agree with you, Brad. But what's I think is ultimately the most disgusting is the fact that the mainstream media will paint over what's going on and try to make it look like a 60-40 issue in favor of the Democrats. They'll lie about what's going on. They'll lie about the intentions. They'll lie about what the judges are doing, right? They'll lie about everything. And it's just really, it's just insane.
I agree with you. No matter what the Republicans do, like, I'm thoroughly confused. Why is it 700 kids being reunited with their parents, who those kids were technically, some of them were actually kidnapped and brought here illegally, used by, you know, illegal immigrants, the ones that are being deported? They weren't family members. They used them to get into the country. Hey, so why are you interrupting me? They're not American citizens. They're being reunited with their parents. I don't give a fuck if they were. They're little kids. They belong with their parents. Tell me this.
You
Why
can't
is
kidnap.
that?
You can't kidnap anybody's kid and send them anywhere. If they're here and they're American citizens, like whose right is it to just
Not American
snatch them up and
citizens.
send them anything?
Yeah, apparently you didn't listen. They're not American citizens. They were used to cross the border to gain asylum. They were used in lies. They were used in sexual manipulation. They were used as trafficking. They were used as proxies. And they're trying to reunite them. And the DNC, which King is going to say about how peril they are and how magnanimous they are trying to block the return of 700 kids to their parents, which is quite
Post the
Hold on
article
just a
for me to
second,
read, Brad,
please.
because I don't know what you're talking about.
Can you hold on just a second, please? So people might be wondering, like, okay, why would parents or in this case that Bryce talked about, a lot of the kids are Guatemalan. So why would these parents in Guatemala have their kids, drop them off, and give them to cartel members, get them across the border? It's because then they are then put into homes in sanctuary states that they know they'll be able to collect federal funding for underneath that actual roof. Now, why this became a prevalent problem that we have today is because under the Biden administration, they stopped taking the DNA tests to be able to connect a biological parent or family member to the actual child to reunify them together. So that was addressed. Tom Homan talked about that. That was the old practice, and then they removed that. So Mr. Holman has worked for several different administrations in his current role today. So he can be the first person to be able to say, they did this during this administration, they took it away in this administration, they're doing this in this administration. These are the trickle-down effect of adverse effects for these children in particular, but it's a money game. It's a money game. These parents or the households where they stick these children in are actually receiving federal funding and money. That's all it is. It's a money grab. So we can say, oh, we have this person here. We have to take care of this person. Oh, we're applying for under this name for this child. That's exactly what it is. It's all for the money.
No, I just was going to ask, could somebody post an article? I haven't heard about 700 kids being kidnapped. So let me read what you guys are talking about before I go into it. Maybe you could put it at the top or something. I don't know.
Did you say kidnapped?
Yeah, she said kidnapped, bro. Like, are you not listening to what they're saying? How many times do they have to say it? Do they need to say it in another language for you to understand? Like, I just don't understand where you're getting these.
Like, what is the proper word? Like,
where did you get the word kidnapped from?
Holman is handling
Who said
this,
kidnapped?
right? Holman is handling this, right? So are they being deported? Like, what is the proper word?
The word kidnapped. You made that up?
Augustus, we'll just use the appropriate DNC language. Unaccompanied minors. Or falsely accompanied minors.
Yeah, like
so that is a big problem here in Arizona.
Don Corleone in The Godfather.
No, they're kidnapped. They're used. They're mute.
Yeah, this is a big problem in Arizona. Sheriffs would be pretty outspoken about this because they are often the ones that are going to encounter these people before the Border Patrol does. And under Biden, Border Patrol did not talk to press. They had official narrative. Nobody could deviate. The officers were not allowed to talk to them. But it is very common for them to have children that are not theirs with them in order to seek asylum or to get services. And it's unknowing what the actual relationship is with that child. Could it be that they're being, I guess they're technically being trafficked, but of course there's the big problem is that it's very common for children and women to be raped. It is when they're passing through northern Mexico. Very common thing. In fact, most women understand that, so they make sure they have lots of condoms and birth control, just to, that's part of the toll they have to pay.
What is the Office of Refugee Resettlement? What agency is that? Because it's what the article is saying is that removing the kids breaks one of the mandates of the refugee resettlement, whatever this. What agency is that? Is that an international thing, or is that?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the question. I was trying to look it up and do the facts in. What were you speaking on, Queen? What were you talking about? The Office of Office of Refugee Resettlement, ORR. Shall we refer to the office? It says transfer to OR within 72 hours of kidnapping the children from non-contiguous countries must be transferred from CBP to OR, an agency within the Department of Health and Human Services. This was to establish to move away from the adult detention mode to ensure the children's welfare. So it's under it's under the HHS, Department of Health and Human Services, which, when I was speaking earlier, would then be, and that child would then be in their system to receive absolute benefits. So that is the cyclical money pattern that I was talking about. Did you want me to continue on, or did you have a comment about that?
Okay, and so this agency takes over the care of the unaccompanied minor.
Yeah, but they have to within 72 hours.
And so what are they saying about this? The agency.
So
they wanted. I don't know.
So the administration has set targets to actually restore these children with their biological parents, and they have the ability to do so for at least, I think, the majority of these kids, and returning them to them. This is not for asylum. A 14-year-old can't just cross our border and with a coyote or whoever else and say, I want asylum. They don't get that provision. That's a minor, and we handle things a little bit differently. We'll protect and shield that minor, but we're not going to grant them application for that because they're a minor and they're without parents. Now, if it was a wholesale, we find out their parents were slaughtered, they're an orphan, and blah, 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 and they're escaping, I don't know, persecution from, I don't know, Mexican government, where they're saying they're just hanging this family, then we'll probably take the children in. Similar situations have happened in the past. However, that's not these kids. Their parents have been located. Their parents are wanting their kids back. For some reason, though, posted it in the chat. Even a judge, the Democrats went shopping and they found a friendly judge to try to block this administration from returning them. I want 700 kids back with their parents. I don't know why Democrats are like, well, they're American. They're not Americans. They're not fucko. I don't need 700 more welfare cases, orphanage cases, fucking juvenile detention center cases. I don't need any more of them. I don't. I've got enough fucking problems with American kids. You want me now?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't need any more dead American kids at schools. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. You guys don't really care, and you interrupted me to go on your phone call. That's really retarded. We don't need any more. I have enough problems with our own kids that I don't need to import more problems. And I think we need to look at this. And again, the Democrats went ahead and blocked this. They really don't care about kids. The only thing they care about is whether or not someone like King can go out and have 410 abortions and be able to say, I'm a proud, independent woman, and then cry about, hey, everybody should be EBT warriors. No, we should be able to manifest our destinies. We should be able to manifest our own points of view. And we shouldn't be importing the children of the world and saying, hey, here we go. Let's rip them from their parents. And then let's create all these other cases to overload our own system. We have enough problems with our adoption programs across the country anyway. Our foster home system is on the verge of fucking breaking. But yeah, let's definitely import fucking 700, 1,000 more. Why not 10,000? Why not 1 million? Let's just import all the kids from the world into the U.S. because we don't have like psychos in the Democrat Party that go up and have their own fucking island, absconding young little girls so they can get booty raped by Bill Clinton and their president. You know, Mr.
Wow.
Squirts a lot over Monica Lewinsky's dress.
So Brad, I can't see the stage right now because I want to read this. And people are asking, all right, so they're underneath the ORR within 72 hours. The minors are, but then what they do is ORR has to provide shelter and care. The children are placed in a network of state licensed shelters, group homes, or foster care. So think about the state license meaning state and federally funded shelters, group homes, and foster care that takes away from the actual American kids that need those actual services, right? The ORRs then also required to provide food, medical care, and other services in the least restrictive possible setting. Now, this is where it becomes political. Under the sponsor reunification, ORR works to identify and vet sponsors who are typically in the U.S. Potential sponsors must undergo background checks before the child can be released into care. Under the Biden administration, they stopped doing the DNA test, so that way they can actually reassert them with a biological member of the family that is in the U.S. The problem is many of these children, they don't have any biological parents or biological family members that it can actually, quote, be their sponsor to reunify them because their parents and biological family members are living in another country. So they're flooding the system, taking away from actual homes and funded homes and care for actual U.S. citizens to include our foster program that is already flooded. So that's an important factor to understand, like the whole chain of custody for these children. So,
it's a massive problem, but again, like we've seen over and over again, they don't really care about funding, reuniting kids with their parents. But no, they're concerned about, hey, should we give puberty blockers? They're all about that. That's when it becomes a problem because, again, they need to chemically or groom, I guess, some sort of fashion onto kids and not let them all discover their own sexuality as they mature through life. But no, we want to be able to somehow over-influence them into becoming a certain way and reject that. That's when they care about it. They don't really give a shit about the schools. They don't give a damn about school shootings because the only thing that they care about is, hey, I want to ban firearms. But when it comes to actually talking about measures to strengthen and harden targets, such as schools, such as expansion on those, such as reviewing medical doctors who are giving SSRIs at an alarming rate to children, how the teacher system, the education system, and the teachers within that system don't need to be elevated to a high level, but somehow need to be actually checked and monitored because they are not performing at such a significant level as indicated from post-1985 onward. We have seen a rapid decline in it. And the fact that teachers say we're overworked or overwhelmed, go ahead and look at the studies. 1950s, 1960s, 1940s, they had more kids per capita in classroom than our teachers do today. So if they had more kids in the classrooms and kids were excelling and we didn't have school shootings back in the day, I'm kind of confused as to why teachers are complaining when they actually have less kids per capita in their classrooms and they have more technology available to them, how the kids are ending up screwed up. And the argument has always been from the left, we just need to get rid of guns because that's what's scary. The legal gun owner is what's scary. Not that we put up all these laws and we somehow believe that that's going to protect us when literally the case that just happened in Minnesota had all the wet dream laws that all these vibrating Democrats could ever dream of. They had them in place. And this person was able to just go right through all of them and commit an egregious act. So much for the Democrats' playbook of checks, special licenses, background checks, all of that shit, all passed, all flying colors. Immediately went through and did it. But you know what they didn't trigger was the kids' psychological reports, which now are getting unveiled, of saying, hey, this kid was known to have psychological problems. No, they were being pushed by transgender. They were being groomed by an education system and parents and others that were influencing him. And what was in his note? I regret accepting being trans to shoot everybody. So there you go.
Yeah, and too bad, the NRA, when they were advocating against these, mental health checks, because a lot of people wouldn't pass.
The NRA doesn't check. Hold on.
That are not the lobbyists.
The NRA does no. The NRA has no control. In fact, its membership is often significant with trial memberships, and it isn't even the biggest understanding of where people are. So when you guys use the NRA, it isn't even pro-friendly for gunmen. Like, I'm not a member, and the majority of gun owners are not a member.
Yeah, but
we look at them as selling out. They sell out gun owners. They're like the last 5 years, they've got nothing but shit, and people have migrated to other Second Amendment advocacy groups because of that. And they basically, for well over a decade, has been seen as a lobbying group for the fucking firearms manufacturing industry, not fucking Second Amendment. Protection.
Yeah, and your opinion piece, they're not the lobbying group that does it, because you do this every time there's a shooting or something involving a gun with a police officer even. First, we're aware you don't know what firearms are because of your stance right there. The fact that you're saying the NRA is a lobbying group. There's lots of lobbying groups. There's lobbying groups for expansive oil. There's lobbying groups that are sugar. There's lobbying groups to make sure you yourself can buy produce or food that is loaded with sugars on EBT food stamps. They are literally doing it. It is Kraft. They are fucking going Kraft. In fact, it just split today. Start your investments early because you got to pick one, and that one's going to be an interesting investment opportunity. But you have a whole plethora of lobbying groups that go to Washington. The NRA does not write policy. It does not fucking vote for a massive group of people. They are a gun rights advocate that has failed in, since 1990 to actually provide gun rights because they kept stipulating despite what gun right owners wanted. And we don't belong to them. And they are just a small fraction of what gun ownership really is in this. But you are about to give me some other information and then keep talking. And I'm sick and tired of it. Like, I don't, you get your point and then move on. And then when someone else speaks, you let them finish. You don't get to interject. You're on our stage. So understand that. Either come up and participate and go with it or don't. I don't really care. But I am tired of this fucking insipid, dumb, retarded talking point about, the boogeyman NRA. It has nothing. It's up there with like Flowers for fucking Matilda's lobbying group or Dinosaur Preservation Committee that wants to fucking enact Jurassic fucking Park. They don't mean shit. They don't actually get legislation, and they haven't won for gun rights owners fucking in ever. Since 1986, they've been on a losing streak across the fucking nation and haven't done fuck all in terms of gun rights for ownerships. It's the other organizations that actually help us. And you guys just don't have the ability to figure that shit out, that Americans want to retain their rights. And it is a constitutional right, and you can't infringe on it. This shall not be infringed. There we go. Who's...
To address Queen's article, an important part of that article was, I wrote it in the chat, it was done to undo some of the previous administration. It was just, the ruling covered too vast, and it included people with disabilities that was not able to, capable of function a firearm. So when you get into the minutia of what's the labeling of disabilities, not disabilities, it just kind of was too blanket in general. That is one of the reasons why it was not. So think about, I'm just veteran friendly. Think about all the veterans, if they have what would be deemed a disability on that list, then they would not be able to own a firearm. How do we even get on that subject?
Because Democrats like to distract and just kind of
move the goalposts.
Yeah, they just like doing that. Like again, the room started out with Epstein. Like I really wanted to talk about the National Guard being in City. I thought it was a big piece. I think it's really. I think it's something to watch. I think it's a good thing. I think the results are in DC that. I hate to tell all the Democrat shills down there in the audience, especially like King, who are all like, "Oh, this is authoritarian." It actually has positive impacts. Crime is actually dropping fucking rapidly, and carjackings are dropping, and muggings, and sexual assaults. They seem to be dropping at a rapid rate since the National Guard came in. Had nothing to do with Muriel Bowser's plan, because that didn't work, and the only impact they've done has been positive throughout. Even the homeless people are glad to see the National Guard out there, and they've said that the National Guard has been so assistive in preventing attacks on them. You're having trouble with CNN trying to go find somebody on the streets that's negative about this impact. They're saying they're great. They're bringing out hot coffee. They're picking up trash. They're helping people be safe. Amazing. Kids are able to get back and forth to school, and they enhanced Mario Bowser's Back to School Safe program. They've been doing a great job. Chicago, on the other hand, said, what was it, authoritarian, and we don't need any problem. Our crime rates are going down. We're doing a fantastic job. But magically, you have 8 motherfuckers killed, and 50 freaking wounded in one weekend? Like, no, crime, I don't give a shit. If that's your Labor Day weekend, if that's like crime being down and that's a good weekend for you, I think I encourage all of you guys, like, get rid of the Dems. They clearly don't have an idea what it's like to have a city where you get to go out and enjoy it, where you can go out to have events. Like, we used to do that. We used to go to churches. We used to go to parades. Like, we should be able to do that without people getting freaking killed and shot all the time.
For the room. How y'all doing, by the way?
Doing great.
Good. I myself, to be quite honest, I don't have faith in either party anymore. I don't, I know it's called the United States, but it ain't anything united going on right now, which is a problem, right? I understand why both sides are disgruntled in their own ways. The crime is ridiculous. Something does have to be done. I do feel like the buck has been passed so many times that nothing is being done on anything. And from the last thing I understood about Congress, it's supposed to be based upon Democrats and Republicans figuring out a way for the people to make things happen for the betterment of the people, which is not what's going on. It's just ideology over actually actions. And by that I'm saying, like, no one should be okay with the fact that everything that's affecting us is getting railroaded and pushed to the back for rhetoric. It's a lot of rhetoric that's been going on Joe Biden's rhetoric, Trump's rhetoric, Obama's rhetoric. We can go on and on and on. So what I guess I'm asking this room and the people is, when do we understand we're getting fucked over, each and every one of us, and the real needs and the real problems going on are not being solved because the rhetoric is winning? Whether it be promoting racism, whether it be promoting bullshit scandals, whether it be promoting anything but the real issues that's affecting all of us. You know, I see it in clubhouse rooms every day, picking a side, cheerleading. I'm for Biden, I'm for Kamala, I'm for Trump. But yet still these problems where these kids are getting killed in schools, these problems where these urban communities are under siege, these problems where the job market is fucked, these problems where inflation is still through the roof, get sideswiped and overlooked for the Epstein shit. Like, I'm going to be real, the Epstein shit is sick. It's fucked up, but right now, what's going on is even more fucked. Is bodies are dropping every day in these communities, and nobody's doing shit about it. And I do agree with Trump on one thing, right? Something has to be done to stop the shit that's going on. I mean, it can't sustain itself with 70 shootings in a weekend or whatever the case may be. However, I don't want it to be an expense of innocent people who are roped into this shit. There's going to be some people roped into the mix of this that might be just walking down the street and get fucked with from these National Guard people. That can be, that two things can be true at once. You may do something for one intention and then this happens on the other. But I say that to say this. We got to get past this whole picking a side like a cheerleader or picking it like a team and realizing that if these two motherfucking parties can't come together, which I don't think they ever will anymore, we all suffer from it. Because the way this system is lined up, is set up, it's set up where two parties are supposed to work together and figure out a way to bring a balance to this shit and find solutions to the problems. That's no longer happening. You know what I'm saying? So my question in the room, and I'm going to shut up with this, is what are we going to do? Are we going to keep on biting each other's heads off and going at each other and nothing gets done? Are we going to finally figure out that the system's broken and try to figure out some way for everyone to come up with an alternative or a way to fix this broken shit? Because it's all shit to me. And all of them are complicit to it, and we all lose.
Yeah, Hug, if the two parties have to come together, means people on both sides need to come together, right? Like, if one side of people say, oh, this is all racist and this and that, and the other side, obviously, there's no policies or no laws or anything that we support on the right stating that, oh, black people can't do this and there's only for white people or brown people. I mean, like, so there's nothing about laws that talk about racism or where one group of people can do and one group of people cannot do, right? So where as people, like, on both sides, like, where do you think we need to come to a common point to make things work?
Well, I think, like I said earlier, I don't think, when I looked at Biden, when I looked at Obama, I don't agree with them either. I don't think that nothing was going good under those platforms either. I just feel like people have been falling for the okie doke and the rhetoric of the scandals and the goofy shit and all of this, and the real issues that's plaguing us. No one is working together to solve it. Now, I'm going to say this. I am for owning a gun. I am pro-freedom of owning a gun. However, I am not pro having these motherfuckers walking around now with military guns and their teenagers able to shoot up shit. Something has to be done. I'm not pro motherfuckers having 223s, bandos, AK-47s.
What do you mean 223s? I mean...
That's slang. That's a hood slang. I'll get to that.
It's not a hood slang. That the 223 Remington is.
That part. But let me get my thought out because I forget what I'm gonna say if I keep getting cut out. I'm gonna shut up, make it concise because I know I'm talking a lot. But I'm gonna say this: there are certain things in life that I feel like citizens should not necessarily have, especially when you think about what do you need 100 rounds of ammo for? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's keep it real. there comes a limit to what goes on. Now, I'm about protecting yourself. I am about being able to protect your family the best you can. But for a motherfucker to walk out here with some of the weapons they have, they shouldn't have access to this. These are military-graded weapons that some of these people have. And when we look at these school shootings and we look at this crazy shit that goes on, nobody really gives a fuck except with prayers and condolences until their kids are the ones that's caught in the crossfire. Then you want something done about it. Because what I've learned is until it happens to you, nobody gives a shit. It's all just fun and games until your kindergartner goes to school and it's one of the ones bleeding on the floor. So we gotta figure out common sense shit. This ain't a Democrat or Republican thing. It's a common sense thing. What are we gonna do about this shit? It is common sense that we need to move in some of these neighborhoods right now and stop the crime. It does have to happen. I don't agree with Trump on most of anything, but I do agree that something has to be done on that. It does. But it's all about how you do it. You know, I'm not opposed to the National Guard going in these cities. I am opposed. I want to make sure that if that's done, it's done the right way. That innocent people aren't caught in the crossfire of this shit. You know what I'm saying? Get the people you need to get, but don't bring people into this shit that have nothing to do with it. And that's the one thing I hope and pray doesn't happen. But something got to give with common sense, man. You know, how long we going to keep watching motherfuckers die in these schools and churches and shit and think it's okay and just keep on business as usual selling this shit to motherfuckers who shouldn't have it? Like, you know what I mean?
The Democratic Party.
I was trying to respond to him. So first of all, you said something about the 223, which it's very similar to the 5.56 NATO, which is what's the M4, which the cartridge that the M4 shoots, or the M16. Now, I don't think you realize this, but that's a pretty small round. Your average hunting rifle is going to have a much more, will use rounds that are much more powerful, but not only will they weigh more, but they'll have a lot more velocity behind them. And so
I was referring to the Remington 5.56 is what I'm referring to. Most human beings do not need that weapon. You do not need that. Like that's the thing I'm referring to. There are weapons. Go ahead, though.
Okay, I can go. Okay, people will go hunting with a 30-06, which I promise you that you getting shot in the chest with a 30-06, the chance of survival is next to zero. It's meant to take down fucking elk. And you can get those in semi-auto, by the way. They've been around 100 years ago. People would own them. So I don't.
I think you're missing the point, my guy. It's not necessarily where I'm against. Like I said, I'm not against guns.
You got to let him land before you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the fact of the matter is that any weapon, including a 9mm, they're all lethal. There's no friendly round to fire and hit somebody with. It's now I when people use terms like military weapons, I've always found it quite annoying. I mean, a 9mm handgun that the police carry, that's the standard firearm of the United States military. Does that mean we should outlaw 9mm handguns? And when it comes to rifles, the cops also use rifles that are chambered in 5.56 generally, and they have them in their squad car.
But those are the cops. Not just everyday people walking around with AK-47s. That's the difference. A cop is a cop. They're there to protect the serve. That's a different thing.
What is the difference between what the tool? Okay, when it comes to a weapon, what is the difference between a civilian application and a police officer's application of when you point your weapon at somebody? Okay, you have them in your sights and you pull the trigger. It does the exact same thing. If you're protecting yourself, you end up using it to protect yourself. It's a lethal weapon. I don't understand why you're saying that.
I never said you don't protect yourself. See, you're spinning it. I am all about protecting. I'm all about protecting yourself. What I'm saying is the average citizen does not need rounds of AK-47 ammunition. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. The fuck do you mean they don't need it?
What do you need it for?
You obviously don't have any. You obviously don't have any experience. You obviously don't.
When was the last time you needed an AK-47?
I haven't needed one. Doesn't mean I'll never need
one. To shoot a school, a church, what? What do you need it for?
Protect my fucking home.
let me say this. You can do that with a 9mm, right?
No, you can't. Not
What's
nearly
that
as
what you just
easily.
said?
No, dipshit. You can't do that. No, you shut the fuck up. I was talking. Shut your fucking mouth. I was talking. You keep on fucking interrupting me. Now, you stupid asshole, there's a big difference when it comes to recoil management. Shut your fuck up. They carry AR-15s. The 5.56 is the round of an AR-15, not an AK-47. It's not a 7.62.
Walking around, I never see him carrying an AK-47 walking around.
They have AR-15s.
They have a 9mm on their waist.
No, they can't. No. If they, no, you stupid. You goddamn brainlet. You stupid fucking troglodyte. What you don't understand is if there's an active shooter, okay, or let's just say there was a shooting in a parking lot. The police officers are going to come. They're going to end up clearing the scene. They're going to make sure that everything's safe, so you can get paramedics there and everything. They're going to take their AR-15 out of their fucking car, and that is what they're going to use as their primary weapon. Why? And there's a reason why. There's a reason why, you stupid fuck. No, you dumb motherfucker. You're going to let me finish. I let you finish, you fucking ape. Now let me finish.
All right. Can we just please do one at a time?
You knew the racist was about to
Yeah, well, no, I can't even finish. I let this motherfucker monologue for how long? And he has to fucking interrupt me every fucking second. See, you fucking idiot, you can't even keep your mouth shut.
Okay, finish up.
Now,
I let this motherfucker do it.
Oh, there he goes. He can't control himself. Anybody who has experience shooting handguns versus an AR-15, you can put multiple rounds on target quickly, okay, with a small grouping. Okay, it's very easy to do, especially in close proximity where you're generally going to use one for self-defense. A handgun is a whole different. Shut the fuck up, you whiny ape. Now, when it comes to a handgun, it's actually much harder. It's actually much harder to do that. If you're in a moment where you're panicked, you don't know how you're going to handle a stressful situation where you have to use lethal force. Okay, good luck controlling the recoil and making sure you have a proper grip and all of that shit. Okay, and handguns people are far more inaccurate with them. That is a fucking fact. That's why police officers, majority of their shots don't hit the fucking suspect. They're much harder to work with. You want something that you can be accurate and quick with. That is how you save your fucking life. That's why people use AR-15s. I'm done.
Okay, thanks. Excuse me, Shipwreck, please go on mute. Thank you very much. We're not going to call people animal names. It's just going forward. Also, to Mr. Hugs one, I need you down because you kept interrupting. We listened to your whole diatribe. I'll bring you up in just a second. I don't own a gun. Last time I held a gun, I cried. So I know that that's not for me. However, if I had to own a gun, I'm going to get the biggest, most productive gun that I can to protect myself. I am not going to take a little pew-pew. I would pick the rifle then because it's faster. I don't have to. It would be easier for me to use, and I'm a small human. So I understand Pepe's logic when it comes to that. We're going to let other people speak that haven't spoke, that are just on this stage. I believe Mr. Sheprupt. You need to speak, go ahead, and I'll bring Hard back up. But Mr. Hard, you need to please refrain from unmicing to the people who are speaking. Go ahead, Mr. Sheprupt.
Yeah, I was just going to say, to add into the conversation, that 5.56, where everyone is up in arms with it being a military round, there's actually been multiple times that the U.S. has looked to move away from the 5.56 because of lack of stopping power. And a majority or a good portion of the school shooters actually use 9mm. If you think to Nashville, they use the P2000, I believe it's a 9mm tube rifle that basically is collapsible. That's 9mm. The stopping power isn't the issue with their 5.56. You need to bring back bullying. When we can bully kids early enough, we can find the crazies earlier. That way, we're able to get them help. In the mid-90s, late 80s, when bullying became the target of the the administration within schools, it really did a disservice to routing out some of these people with more susceptible mental health issues. That's it.
So when we look at Dylan Roof,
Okay,
when we
hold on
look at
just a
Cal
second.
Rittenhouse,
Excuse
Michael
me,
Carter.
Mr. Hub. Okay, hold on just a second. I'll let you go in just a moment. Just to clear up how we kind of got into this conversation is talking about the National Guard carrying arms. So I wrote in the chat exactly what the National Guards is carrying in DC. And also I want to conclude, not all National Guard members in DC are carrying firearms. Only certain ones that have certain missions are carrying firearms, not all. And I'm going to think that this is definitely going to be a test run for other cities, and they'll deviate the plan going forward, the mission going forward. So it's not all. And the information that you were sharing, what they were carrying is not correct. I wrote it in the chat. No, floor is open. Go ahead. And Mr. Hug, could you please give an opportunity for Mr. Marquise and Mr. Rob to speak since they have not spoken on the stage yet?
You got it.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, I appreciate that. Go ahead, Marquise and Rob.
Thank you. I'll make mine quick. I just want to say that it feels like every event that takes place with a firearm, whether it's a rifle, a shotgun, a pistol, something in high caliber, something in a lower caliber, it's a reason for sensitive extremists to try to poke at to try to figure out a reason to add more gun control. When the reality is, if you really look at each case of whether it's a school shooting or a mosque shooting or any type of mass shooting, there is a reason behind it. There's a reason behind why there's somebody either carrying explosives or carrying firearms to commit these acts. And they're not looking at the motive. People look at the tools that are used and they think, oh, well, not everybody needs that. But everybody does need the idealism. Everybody does need the idealism as to why people do this type of shit. We need more hate in politics. We need more hate in the news. We need more shock value. You ever notice that you never fucking see anything good on the news? It's always like, oh, we have something shocking today. We have some shocking news. This is horrifying news, horrifying stuff. You never hear like, hey, somebody actually donated $1 million to a fucking fundraiser. You know, just... you don't really hear much about that. You have to go to YouTube for it. So my point being is that it's not about the firearms, it's about the idealisms, all the politics and the reasonings and motives behind why these things take place with the tools. You cannot blame a tool for why people commit vile acts, MLN.
Hey, I want to say this. I'm a gun owner. I'm from Houston, Texas. I will use that hoe if necessary. I think guns are the single worst invention humans ever created. One can say that the nuclear weapon is worse. I do understand that it's a far more massive weapon, a more powerful weapon. But the idea that we could carry around a weapon of mass destruction, because that's what a gun is. Don't get it twisted. It's a weapon of mass destruction. Anything you flip it, if I could take multiple lives with it, it's a weapon of mass destruction. We're a violent nation. Our government is violent. We enjoy violent TV. We enjoy violent movies. We enjoy violent music. We enjoy violence. Whether we want to accept that or not, like, this is America. It's built on violent principles. We've been in a state of war. I think we've been a country since, 1776 official. I think last time they said, I looked it up, we had been in war like at least 60-70% of the time we've been a nation. So why don't you think that the top of our nation, which is violent, wouldn't trickle down to the basics of America? A state like Illinois has no gun law, has strict gun laws, but we always hearing about Chicago gun violence. That's because they can easily go to goddamn Missouri. They can easily go to Indiana. Hey, gun control is a myth in America. I can get 5-10 guns way quicker than I can find a job. Like, I'm telling y'all this. I could call 10 people right now and say, hey, let me find a chopper. Let me find a AR. Let me find one. Like, it's easy. That's not a good thing.
So it's like I'm torn with it because I done been dealing with murder since I was in sixth grade the first time somebody that I was close to got killed by gun violence. And it ain't stopped since sixth grade, and I'm 41 years old. Like, the shit is tough. It is. Like, I'm not gonna front. We about to start a murder trial September 8th for my best friend. Like, he got killed in January 2022, and the murder trial just starting. So it's like, it's tough, but I'm gonna be very real with I'm leery about hearing white people discuss this type of shit because I don't think y'all really care about it. I'm gonna keep it a bean. I don't think y'all care about what's really happening in places like Chicago. I don't think y'all care about what's happening in the inner city and y'all city because I can almost guarantee that y'all do your best to avoid these areas even when there's not quote unquote violence happening. Like, I just don't think it's a genuine conversation when we talking about gun violence in America. But I also don't think we could do anything about it. Like, Trump bringing the military into people's cities is completely un-American. And I hope that our military, I'm not talking about the National Guard. If the military is ever deployed, I hope them boys have some courage and say we're not going to deploy in our own country where it's not an active war zone. No matter what the numbers may look like, Chicago is not a war zone. Detroit is not a war zone. St. Louis, which has the highest crime rate in the city, is not a war zone. It's some segments of these neighborhoods that are fucked up. It's some people that are doing some fucked up shit, but we're not in a war zone. And if y'all think that keeping the military prolonged in a situation is good for business, is good for growth in the neighborhood, we'll see if people want to come and invest in these neighborhoods or if they just become glorified military occupational zones. I don't think it's good for us. I'll land.
Not good for
just
us.
real quick, yeah. Hold on just a second, Marcus. So Rob, there's a definite distinction in what the National Guard can do and what active duty can do on either field. So it's going to be very rare if active duty are going to be called, because I'll write it in the chat, everything, so I don't forget to worry about that. But the National Guard serves under the actual governor of state. However, the president can also act and have them called in for special missions. I'll put it in the chat when we go down, okay? Go ahead, Mark.
So, Marquis, are you going? Or Notorious, welcome to the stage. Did you want to try?
I see Notorious, but I also noticed that Pug wanted to talk to you too, so I left it up.
No, I think my man was very succinct in how he put his statement together that spoke before me. He's absolutely right. I think a lot of people minimize what these guns can do until it happens to someone close to them. And we tend to make this seem as if it's an urban thing that started in the hood when the Hatfield and McCoys were killing each other way before this. This has been a problem in America for as long as this country has damn near been a country. Is that we do promote violence. We do promote killing each other. We promote all of that shit. And we look at a gun, which is used to kill, as a toy. It's not a toy. Now, I am for protecting yourself. I do believe in the right to bear arms. I do believe in that. But in that same sentence that I just said, I do not believe citizens should be out here walking around with AK-47 or have access to them, or any other military.
I'm sorry, Hug. If one human has access to an AK, any human should have access to an AK.
I get it. I get what you're saying, fam. Because like you said, I got my gun under the seat right now. I'm riding. I keep it with me. I have to.
I got an AR at my crib. I got a shotgun in my crib. I got a Glock 40 at my crib. I got a 38 at my crib. You feel me? Do I walk around?
What it is, fam, is when we
they legal.
kids,
I ain't no felon.
Kids that are 13 and 14 with shit, you gotta ask the question, first of all, besides getting it from their parents, with a couple of them.
You're not getting AR-15s from your parents if you talking about inner city. I can't speak for no school shooting ass shit. You feel me? Like, I have not wrapped my mind around that. I went to school during the age of Columbine. I remember I remember the Pearl, Mississippi shooting. That was like the first one that I vividly remember. I remember that shit happening in where's Arkansas State at? Jonesboro, Arkansas.
Absolutely.
These things happen.
And when you look at
I
Dylan
went to
Roof,
school.
when you look at Dylan Roof, when you look at Michael Carneal, when you look at the Virginia Tech shootings, when you look at all these shootings, these are white people doing it. So it's not an exclusively black thing. Like we always get told Chicago, Baltimore. What about Dylan Roof going in here and shooting all these motherfuckers? And he's white.
The flip side to that, as fucked up as that was, I don't even want to make it seem like I'm trying to get this man some kind of like pass. The flip side is that man got arrested. He's in prison for the rest of his life. And with all due respect, you sound like a man that come from the church, just like myself. That's an anomaly. The school shootings, those aren't anomalies. Those have become a real thing that we have to answer for. The reality is, the way a church works, churches are never gonna operate the way we secure our schools or our airports. Like, you can't operate a church like that. It would go against everything that the church stands for. So, like, yeah, that was a tragedy. That was evil. And that fucker knew going into that place, of all places, was you're most vulnerable in a church. Nobody would feel like they should be in a threat in the church house. So, like, I ain't gonna, like, that's a separate incident to me from school shootings, because they happen every year, bro. They happen, like, I'm 41. Like I'm saying, that's 96, the first one I remember. And it's been happening multiple times every year. It's like, with our schools, I'm gonna say this. I went to more, a quote-unquote urban school. Wasn't predominantly black, but it was majority black and Hispanic. We had fucking metal detectors every day. You had hall sweeps. If you was caught in your class outside of when the bell, caught in the hallways, they sweeping you. They bringing drug sniffing dogs. I'm gonna tell you that these schools don't ever have school shootings. They do have a lot of issues though, but they never have school shootings. It's something about the profile of school shooters. Like I heard old buddy say, bring bullying back. I don't know if that's the answer, because like prior to like 95, 96, you're not hearing about school shootings. So I don't know if bringing back bullying is the answer. I don't know if it's let's secure our schools like we secure airports. But something does need to be done. But in terms of like this inner city violence, I'm gonna land on this. I'm not sure what could be done about it, y'all. Like, y'all talking about the gun violence. Man, yeah, young niggas is getting access to some guns they shouldn't be getting access to, but it's these switches that's the real issue. I can make my 40. I could turn that hoe into a goddamn AR-15 if I got a switch on it, and I put a 30 clip in there. I could let off 30 rounds in under 5 seconds with a handgun. That's what's happening.
I think it's under a second. It takes out the 30 rounds.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Look, 5 seconds, a second, whatever it is, Pepe, you get my point. I can't do that with my 40 as I regularly shoot that hoe. So it's like these things are real, but if you're not gonna address the underlying issues that in these communities, man, they are underserved. Like there's nothing in these communities by and large. In addition to having fucked up homes, broken homes, I'm not even just talking about single family homes. I'm talking about dysfunctional, broken homes. Like you put those in a condition where outside there's nothing for people to do. In a country where guns are readily available, in a time period where people are seeing people like First 48, the video games we play. I throw the music in there, the environmental conditions, gangs. Man, it's a perfect storm for shit to be happening. So you think that the fucking military coming in gonna just change everything? Man, I'm gonna land on this. How you think we got all these fucking terrorists in the Middle East and all of these other places we done occupied? Because those kids that lived through that grew up to become adults. And you think that shit ain't gonna happen in our own country? You got your motherfucking mind.
It's a problem, bro. That's all I'm saying. At the end of the day, there's really, it's really hard to even find a solution that anybody's gonna be comfortable with anyway, because it's a complex problem. Like to solve this problem, it is gonna be some uncomfortable things that have to happen to correct it, because it was uncomfortable things that happened to make the problem. But it's a culmination of so many elements, man. The lack of God, the lack of morality, lack of respect, the lack of ethics, the lack of love. There's so many numbers of shit we can blame this on, right? But at the end of the day, all I'm saying is at some point common sense has got to be prevalent, man. And what we see happening is the same picture over again. The same prayers and condolences, with no real initiative or even effort to stop shit. So I don't know what the best answer is for this, but I do know at some point we can't keep sustaining this shit as it is right now. We can't keep on having the same shootings in schools and churches and act like this shit ain't happening. And like I said, people getting offended when it happens to their family, but don't give a damn when it happens to someone else. You know, that's what we have going on in society right now. I don't care until it hits my kindergarten. I don't care until it hits my grandma. I don't care until it hits me. That's where we are with this shit. This is a real problem when you see 14 and 15-year-olds having access to switches and semi-automatic guns. They didn't bring this shit here. You don't get those type of weapons without it being brought to you. You can't go and get that as a urban 13-year-old. This shit it's a contrived, set-up thing, man. And it's not exclusively just a black thing. It's a problem for a lot of different people, whites, blacks, everybody. But it is predominantly affecting my community the most, because the guns are being brought into these communities with the sheer intent of us using it to kill each other with. That's the plan. Let them wipe themselves out. Let's create poverty conditions. Let's put them guns and drugs there and let them motherfuckers take each other out. That's what it is. And what I agree with my man on what he said, is some of y'all don't care. Some of y'all don't care.
Hey, can I ask though, in regards to the title? Is that me with the echo? Oh, my bad.
Sorry,
why don't Democrats care about kids?
Fault.
It's all good, KK. It's all good. Why don't Democrats care about kids? What indicates that Republicans care about children? Like I understand like having the pro-life stance. That should be the number one reason, right? I guess. But like outside of that, what would I go by that shows that Republicans care about children in the United States any more than the Democrats do?
Bingo.
Is this just a title to bring people in? Is this based off of some statistics? Some stats we can look up, some data we can look up to show that Republicans care more about kids? Because if we look at certain policies, things that have been geared towards helping children, it's Republicans that seem to have more of the issues with those type of programs. So if we're talking policy-wise, and again, I'm not here to say that the Democrats actually care more about children. I'm just going by the policy. Like, who's more likely to cut funding for school? Who's more likely to be against, like, Medicare, Medicaid? I would say...
Rob, I think it was tied. Hold on just a second, Notorious. Brad, are you there? He's the person who put up the title in the article, and it was in a specific situation where there's 700 unaccompanied minors that were brought here illegally, and their families live in this case,
I believe in this article, in Venezuela. And so now Democrat courts are trying to uphold him and say, no, they don't want those kids to be reunited with their families that live in a different country. I think that's what the topic of the room is or was. But Brad started the room. Are you there, Brad? Is that the direction you want to keep going, or you want to let people free flow? Bradley going once. Bradley going twice. Okay, so I'll just...
Hey, Brad out here looking for Keyston, man, so he quiet. Well, Keegan right now, so he be quiet.
He said just a second, so while he'll be in a second, I saw Notorious go off mic. Go ahead, Notorious.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on something Rob said earlier. Rob, you had said that you didn't think that white people cared about the crime or the murder, right? And then when I talk about murder, I'm talking about the senseless murder. I'm not talking about the typical murder that happens between all groups, right? I'm talking about the senseless killing. Do you think that white people should care more than we do? Because in my opinion, we don't seem to care. When I say we, I mean black people.
What? Are you asking you, say that again? I didn't hear what you said clearly, Notorious.
I said, you said that you didn't think that they should really be talking about it because they don't really care about the subject. And so I'm asking you is, should they care more than we care?
I don't think they care more than we care. I don't think they should care more than we care. I don't think we should care about their issues more than they care about their issues. I'm simply talking about in the scope of the conversation. I don't think white people really care about those things because, like, the evidence shows that it's happened so much. You feel me? Like, I'm not saying that they should care, but I don't see where's the care at? Like, what do you have to care about? Like, you purposely avoid these communities as is, even when there's not those things happening. Like, you don't come into these communities. You won't shop there. You sure as hell won't live there. You won't send your kids anywhere over there. But we're supposed to believe you care about these areas when headline news comes out about the murder stats that's going on. Like, that's my point.
Yeah, but why would they shop there or go there if it's unsafe?
I mean, you'd have to ask the citizens that live there, like, how we survive, how we actually, like, live normal lives, things like that.
Hey, Rob, I'll be honest with you. Most of what's sold on inner cities, and I'll say this for urban areas, I wouldn't buy it. Most of the shit that I'd buy is literally at a Bass Pro, a Cabela's. You know, I'm going out further. I have to find stores that cater to me. My clothing attire, KK can tell you this. She's probably able to pick out what I'm freaking wearing right now. I can tell you is probably select. Either it's coming from like Orvis, over from Ireland. It's going to contain a mixture of outdoor gear that's built to, withstand the Oregon Trail. Like, I would not be the one dying of dysentery. What's sold in the cities would maybe be a restaurant, and I'll go there. But if there's nothing like really in those areas, you're right. I'm not going to really particularly care. It's not my focal point, but I wouldn't want anything negative because my pursuits are vastly different from somebody who loves that urban life. I can put on KK. She's all about the glamour, glitz, and Gucci way of life. She's going to stroll down there and she's going to be shopping. She's going to enjoy those. That's her forte, not mine. And so white people are not a monolith. We're all also not kinfolk. KK's not white, by the way. She's just got a fat ass. The thing is that
that's a fact.
The thing is that I can't help you. Do I think that you should be discarded in the neighborhood because it's a racial demographic? Fuck no, absolutely fucking not. That's like the most horrific thing. In fact, I'd want the National Guard to go in there. If you have women sitting there saying, I can't use the front of my house, I have to eat in my basement and live in my basement because we're afraid of a stray bullet going through our neighborhood, yes, send in the National Guard. That person is being held prisoner. Fuck, I'll kid up. I'll go back. I'll get my old uniform out. I'll get my gear on. I'll take my M4, which is a different platform from an AR-15, and I'll go clear those streets, and I have no problem doing it. I'll do it at night, all day, every way, and we'll have a good time doing it. People won't like how I get it done, but I promise you she'll be able to eat in her living room and sit on her porch by the time I'm through. That, you know, I want help. I don't think a citizen needs to live under that. I don't want them to live under tyranny. I want you to be free. Like, that's what I care about. Like, you're right, I don't care about your individual neighborhood because I got mine to worry about. But it doesn't mean I want you to be stopped, and it doesn't mean I don't want you to live a happy life.
Hey, Brad, I feel what you're saying, but here's the thing, right? We talk about what happens in the urban communities with the guns, the killings, but we skip how the drugs got there. We skip how the guns got there. We skip the reason that it's put there. You know, a lot of these neighborhoods where the crimes have gone down and people have killed each other through the drug gang or the gangs or whatever it is, they've come back and bought those houses for little but nothing and gentrified. You know what I mean? So I say that to say this. At the end of the day, I'm not making excuses. You have to be accountable for your own actions wherever you live at, but it's not designed the way that it is. You know, it has been designed. We saw what happened during the crack era, how it decimated families, how it decimated neighborhoods, and now we're seeing it happening with white people, with meth and heroin. And the difference I'm seeing is how everything is handled. When it went down with black people, you know, they looked at crack, zombies, these people, animals, but now it's a sickness and an illness, and we're passing out free Narcan, Carson, and Tucker. It's a hypocrisy on how things are handled in America, considering what's happening too. And this is not me necessarily trying to play the race card, but it's just being honest. These guns, these drugs did not get in these urban neighborhoods by themselves. They were strategically put there with the intention that motherfuckers kill each other over this shit.
Let me say this.
Go ahead.
This dope in America is an American thing, man. Let me say that. I can guarantee high school that, well, I don't know how old they are, but let's assume y'all around my age, KK, Marshall, you feel me? KK, I can guarantee it, y'all. I can guarantee, well, I know at her, if she only 21, they partying at her all-white school. All I'm saying is that dope moving everywhere. Any white college campus, any area that white folks are at, that dope is moving. Like, it is what it is. This is an American issue. Like, it happens to be in our community. Our communities happen to be a little more unstable. So you add drugs in an unstable environment, hey man, it sometimes comes out like this. But it's like, this is an American issue. It's not gonna stop. Like, yeah, there was a total difference in how people were treated for heroin and meth. Like even fentanyl. Like fentanyl, the mandatory minimum should be placed on fentanyl, if you ask me. You should get that mandatory 20-25 for that gram of fentanyl, the same way that Rocker Hard was giving boys 10-20 for a couple grams of crack. Crack really ain't do folks bad like heroin and meth did, or fentanyl. I want to keep it a bean. The issue with crack was the violence behind it. Man, you know how many functional crackheads it is out here?
Hey, but
see, y'all don't. That's what I'm saying. Y'all don't see that because they're gonna sensationalize the crack mother. They're gonna sensationalize the idea of a crack baby. They're gonna sensationalize that man on the corner that do tap dancing and shit with no teeth. They're gonna sensationalize that to make that the face of the crackhead. When I'm telling y'all this is somebody that sold crack for a good portion of my life, I'm telling y'all it's far more people that go to work in suits and ties. You feel me? Restaurant workers, debt collectors, insurance agents, they're doing crack far more than that guy that's on crack, bro. Coke or crack? No, I'm talking about no. I know that.
Rob, who's the face when I say that person's a meth head? Does it not drum up pictures of a white man in a white shirt, ripped jeans, with a mullet on his fucking head.
Yeah.
And some fucking shaggy dude fucking.
Will you say he's demonized the same way that crackhead was?
Fuck yeah, we are, because we don't want those people in our communities. Nobody.
I would not say that they demonized. I'm sitting here watching where I just moved from.
You're like cozy up to
No, I don't think white people cozy up to meth heads. I know that white people are classes.
So
I know that white people don't give a shit. White people don't give a shit about the Appalachians.
Let me help Rob's point. Mitch McConnell did a whole Congress policy to help the meth head. Hey, police officers, when you interact with these people, you need to be empathetic. So no, it's a different marketing.
Absolutely. And let me give y'all one example I'm looking at right now. And it's funny you said Mitch McConnell, because I'm in Louisville, Kentucky right now. That's where I'm at. And I'm watching where there's a drug and treatment facility that is put in the hood, and it's called the Healing Place. And in this treatment facility, most of the people in this drug and treatment facility here, believe it or not, are white. They're here for heroin, fentanyl, whatever they're doing, right? Here's the thing that I noticed that I kind of agree with both of you on, right? Even when you're looking at white people on their own, right? They don't want the trash in their backyard. Most of these people who are in this treatment center right now come from suburban homes that had parents that had decent money, and they just got caught into the drug life, whether it be through college or just experimenting or whatever it may be. But they don't want that treatment facility in their neighborhood. They want to put it in an already fucked up neighborhood. It's no different than when you see a person littering it, like they're littering a neighborhood in a hood, but if they went into a suburban area, they're not going to drop their piece of paper or that popsicle stick down on the ground because they feel like either a cop might ride up on me or it just ain't no other trash out here, so I ain't going to drop it. So we got a philosophy right now. I do believe there's a hypocrisy on how things are dealt with. Even white people on their own, like my man made a good valid point. They don't care if you from Appalachian, you drink Mountain Dew and you do method and got a mullet and teeth missing. Them white people ain't gonna claim you that ain't in that light. They're gonna look at your ass like, get this motherfucker out of here. Yeah, but build that treatment center for him down in the hood with them other niggas. Put him with the niggas.
I think if we just limit it to the ancillary anecdotal thing of claiming, they're always going to win that argument because claiming is something that is spontaneous. It ain't nothing you can see nationwide. The thing is, nationwide, we put out these little tropes, these little fantasy comments about one community, and then the other community does the exact same thing or worse, and all of a sudden, let's not talk about that. As an example, I use the words black commit crimes. Well, when you look at it, the word commit doesn't even show in FBI statistics. And then FBI statistics are really tracking 911 calls and what people are charged for. Well, this is why blacks have the third highest conviction rate, but nobody wants to talk about that. That would be more symbolic of commit, the fact that they have the conviction rate. But we don't like to talk about the conviction rate because certain people want the identity politics to only go off of speculation and what could be happening, which they'll say, you commit these crimes. Okay, show me the connection tissue. Oh, laugh, joke. It's never serious. So blacks are convicted the third most behind Latin people. White people are done the most because mathematically they're the most here. But this whole commit most crimes, or just like you're talking about the drugs, a lot of this stuff is just the optics that people like to put out as a talking point. And I wish Americans would get past this stuff, because if black folks were allowed to do what the blacks in England did and the blacks in Brazil did, have a bakery shop and be left alone. Go ahead and create this farm over here and be left alone. We had so many instances here up until 1960 where people were just killed for being well-read and smart because somebody jealous didn't like it. The black guy fought back. He went and got his white friends. The black guy pulled out a gun, and now you hide behind your friend, the sheriff, over some shit that you started. If we didn't have a lot of that, we wouldn't have a lot of this black and white stuff here.
Hey, Hug, if you're in Louisville, just make sure they don't put that treatment center or Mama's Mustard. I want to still visit when I get out.
Oh, yeah, that's the shit, man. Hey, listen, no doubt about it. I won't let that happen. Yeah, I love Mama's, man. That's some good food right there.
Hey, I can imagine Kentucky got some good ass soul food restaurants.
You would be surprised, man. I mean, there is a few good ones, man, but you would expect more. You know, it's just after COVID kind of happened, it put a lot of your mom and pop restaurants out of business. It's starting to pick up again, though. So it is looking up. They're starting to kind of reopen a little bit, but for a minute we were lacking for a second. But it is.
For as great as a food city as we are, I feel like our soul food did kind of declined in Houston over the years. We got a lot more like fusion spots where people is taking soul food ideas. Shit, my business, my company is Soul Fried Rice. I make fried rice, and shit, I use soul food ideas instead of just using, the same Chinese restaurant or Asian recipes. I use soul food recipes, blend them with Asian recipes. So I even do that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as just like outright like great soul food spots, we don't have them like we used to have them.
You're right. You know what's so interesting? You want to know what's so interesting that you just said? One thing I learned about white people and black people that we do have in common, right? So we're going to talk about one of the things we do have in common is white people like good food, black people like good food. I've seen some white people, once they taste some good soul food, they like, this is the shit. And I feel like the thing in America is, man, we got more in common that we want to give each other credit for, but I feel like the government makes money off division. They make money off off distracting. And I feel like when we talk about racism and racist things that go on, that's not always the norm. That's what they want to promote to take their mind off the fact of all the other issues that they're putting into play when you're asleep at night. All of the laws, all the regulations, all the bills, everything that's being passed that the American people don't know about because we're so distracted by the optics. We're so distracted by the bullshit that we don't see the play that both Democrats and Republicans are complicit to. These motherfuckers are truly cahoots on the low, but we thinking that it's...
Yeah, but we as black folks got to be a little bit more honest, too. There's a lot of stuff we can do internally that we don't like doing. And if we bring it up, then the city blacks get pissed off. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff you can say that happens outside of black, those people who are black inside of America. But you even look at the people who are cosplaying as if they're black American and really they're Caribbean, really they're Africans. You know what I'm saying? And they go out and do these crimes, and then we get labeled. You know what I'm saying? As if it was us, instead of realizing it's the dude that just got here in 2009.
All right, see, like, let me ask you this.
Let me finish the mic.
My bad. You got it.
It's hard to get the microphone from y'all.
Nah, you got it. You got it, big dog.
So it's like black Americans do have to start policing themselves, and especially black males. Black males need to be way more well read, way more managers, and we're hustlers, and we love entertainment, laughing and joking. We got to get beyond that. Go ahead, bro.
So look, this the one thing, like when it comes to like other like black immigrants or whatnot. What are you to say to that African that grew up in the neighborhood like mine's with right next to us? You feel me? Yeah, in home, his parents is Nigerian. Ain't no doubt about it. His name is a Nigerian name. You feel me? You heard of the rapper dude named Toby from Houston?
Yes, a lot of them.
No, I'm saying, have you heard of the rap dude named? All right, well, he got real popular, man. I think y'all would like his music, but he from my neighborhood. Me and his brother is way tighter because he younger than us. But they African. But them niggas grew up with us on the block. You feel me? All of their experiences is just like mine from the block. Except for when they went in the house, their dad had that accent. Yeah, they had some cultural things. But
it's not that much of a difference when you grow up in the same environments. That's the same when you throw the white boy that grow up in the neighborhood. For all intents and purposes, he's experienced the same things we've experienced. Only difference between him and us is that he's white. He's went to the same schools as us. He's ate with us. He done spent the night at our house. He done been to our granny house. In his mind, he might feel like he's lived a black experience. The same way that there's a black kid that's placed in, I'm going to just say because I'm from Houston, that's placed in Cy-Fair District and around 90% white kids his whole life. His experience are going to be vastly different. I'll say this. I think black Americans and white Americans are the same people. It just our experiences in the country are different. But when you talk about the food we eat, which is what we got on that led us here, it's the food. Like, we eat the same foods. Maybe they're seasoned differently. But we're basically all Christian. And when it comes to religion, we speak the same language. We got the same narrow-minded view of the world. Because I hear it in this application, when we have rooms with people from outside of America, we all got an American exceptionalism idea, even black folks. But it's like, yeah, man, because of the treatment and because of the ignorance of that treatment, yeah, man, that creates a divide amongst us that's hard to overcome.
So I disagree, and here's why I disagree. I think the way you present it, and I used to think like that because I'm from the block. As people get older, new groups start to appear to them. So let's use your African example. That person who grows up with you, let's call them Eritrean for this example. Now he starts getting older, maybe college, maybe after college, he's interacting with other Eritreans. Now the pull of that culture takes him away from that symbiotic relationship of growing up right next to you. It's just something that happens. While you and I may continue to stay stuck because our only cultural example is that hood. Let's take the white guy. The white guy grew up around us, okay? A couple of white guys stay true to it. Hey, this is how I grew up. This is what it is, Cool. But then other guys start feeling the pull of that Russian influence because guess what? Their grandmother's Russian. And they grew up out here with us. DJ Vlad out here in Berkeley. But the minute you start interacting with other Ukrainians, now all of a sudden, hey, Ukraine. Not so much Rob. Not so much. Rob is like fifth now, maybe fourth. So I think it does a disservice to a lot of us. And just hear me out strategically. It does us a disservice to continue to think just because he eats chitlins, I eat chitlins, he eats greens, I eat green, I listen to this type of music. People tend to change as their culture starts to pull them one way or another. And now you're starting to see, okay, I did grow up here, but now I'm over here with this group as a 40-year-old guy, and we're collectively using our money to go against that hood that I grew up in and turned it into, let's say, something that the Yemen do a lot. The Yemen will sit up here and use their religion to get stuff amongst blacks, take it over, and then exclude the black Islamics from it. Wake that up, Rod. They will kick the black Islamics out of stuff that the black Islamics helped them get. And then when you see them in the power structure, it'll only be based on caste and not so much, hey, you're a fellow Islamic. So America's got to wake up. A lot of this stuff is not as simple as we would like it to be, but maybe that's just my view. I could be wrong.
I don't think it's a wrong, right thing in this particular phase of the convo because we all talking about our perspective as Americans. And I do hope at some point, I ain't saying we gotta be on some kumbaya shit, saying black and white men and white women and white and black women are sisters and all that shit. I do hope we could realize that we got far more to gain by not being on some of the silly shit. Rooms like this is good, in my opinion, because we could share ideas, we could disagree, and then we could figure out maybe something that might work better for us as individuals. Hopefully we could figure it out on a massive level so that we don't need government intervention. Because if we're for small government and less government intervention, we shouldn't want to see the military occupy our cities.
Yeah, but if we don't want that, we should have never passed NAFTA. We never should have did Reagan's NAFTA because that's interfering. That's big government, and we never should have did Bill Clinton on steroids NAFTA.
Well, we know that big government thing is really a lie.
But the problem is, you say we want smaller government. We can't pass policies that force bigger government to happen. Right to work is a big government policy. It says you, the small man, can't do small man stuff. It restrains you. So I don't follow I read these policies, bro. I go on Congress.gov and I read this stuff. I think that what's unfortunate is we got so many Americans that use the talking points of whatever, and that's cool. That's cool. But then when you dig into the detail, why are we stopping black farmers today, but allowing white farmers to do what they want to do? What the hell is that? Why is we got a bill that got passed for black farmers got rescinded? Why is that happening? I thought we wanted just what you said, Rob. But when we play these games in politics, where we push the narrative of, hey man, look, let's just get along. Let's just cool. I'm with that. And then here comes a WTO policy. Whoa, what are we doing? Whoa. So you're going to help people outside the country make a company, and you're going to restrict the people inside of the company? I mean, inside of the country from competing? That's big government like a mug.
But see, like, when I think the benefit of us being able to kind of find common ground is that, like, a conversation where you just dropped can now be articulated in a way that they gonna get outside of actually being around certain black folks. They not gonna hear these perspectives for them to see that maybe we've been off and why we have the issues with our politics like we do. Like, so that's why I say it's important for people to have these conversations. Seriously, because, like, I don't deal with a lot of white people outside of maybe going to work. You know what I'm saying? I don't talk to them about their perspective on America. So it would be easy for me to just shit on their perspective because they are the majority and we've done shit historically from America and white Americans, excuse me. But nah, we need C-Lay to drop that type of knowledge on them boys because that shit is relevant. Super relevant.
Yeah, I just want more brothers to be well read on this. So I'm going to drop a book from you by Barbara Honegger. It'll teach you everything you know about to know about politics. I promise you. Go read October Surprise. Go ahead and read that book. $3, $5. All right. And it will teach you everything, Rob, that you want to know about politics in and out.
So this conversation has derailed my room. I've been kind of busy right now. I'm packing up for the weekend. I got an expedition to take forth, and I have some other things for work going on. Then I had to step away, but I've been listening a little bit. And I appreciate some of the insights and the takes between Rob and Seeley, but that wasn't the intent of my room. You can go have a room on some of the topics. I don't really include racial topics in my rooms because I'm going to be honest with you, I don't give a damn. It's up there with religion. I don't care about religion. I don't care who your sky daddy is, and I don't care what race you are. It doesn't make a difference to me. A lot of the race rooms I find, platform themselves on antiquity and need. There's a lot of hypocrisy when it comes to
minority empowerment rooms and where the grift and pull is going to be. Where, for instance, in this conversation, there will be a pushback against Caribbean or African immigrants coming in and collectivizing and saying, hey, there's a stigma when it comes to America and there's oppression, but I don't want them with us. But then I want assistance from it. And so I think, honestly, a lot of people, when they try to desegregate races in this country, they really aren't the ones that we should be listening at the table. And I think segregation is fine if you want to do it. Do your own thing. I fucking don't care. If you want to go live in the Ozarks and be in an all-white community, hats off to you. You want to go in northern Georgia and be in an all-black community, go ahead. Hats off to you. Go build it. I'm all about it. Have fucking fun. See if you can do it. Have power to you. I wish you the best. Hopefully everything works out for you. You can grow your vegetables, get your water, and everything will be peace. But really, the country does need to not recognize two races. It just needs to recognize American and non-American. That's basically where we need to go. And until people are ready to accept that, then all the rest of it is just twaddle. Every group's been oppressed here except for the waspy fucking Protestant ones that came from England and the Germans. Outside of them, every other culture group has been demonified, killed, hung, enslaved in some fashion or facet, and been punished and cruelly abused by the United States government and the American citizens that are here. And ideally by Americans that generally at large have their own perspective on what is and what isn't allowed in America. So I'm going to drift this back to the kids today. And Marshall, welcome to the room. Patricia and others. I wanted to talk about the fact that 700 kids were found to have their parents overseas in Guatemala primarily. And the Democrat Party blocked them from reunification with their parents. They want them to stand. So they're not born here. They're not American citizens. They were used to get across the border. They were unaccompanied minors. And I'm confused as to why the Democrat Party would prevent children from being with their parents, despite the fact that the parents overwhelmingly are asking for their kids back, because it makes no sense. So if somebody has an answer to that, I'd like that. The other thing I was talking about was Epstein. Epstein's Island, and the fact that it revolved around kids. Like, why is it, everybody's all Trump's a pedo. But when the whole list starts to get pushed out and people start, hey, let's release this, I've got Democrat chills trying to find friendly judges to block release of information about the kids and who was involved in gang raping kids in Epstein's Island. It seems really weird that the Democrat Party itself is Trump's a pedo, but you don't want to release any of the information. You just want people to take your word for it. And I thought we fell for that shit under shifty shit before. So I'm not sure. So, Marshall, what do you think? Or anybody else? What do you guys think on this one?
I mean, I think if the Democrats are standing in the way, that's not a good thing. I'd be curious why they're standing in the way, if they've given a reason. But just if the parents want their kids back from Guatemala and we're not giving the kids back, I'm not sure why. The American foster system is broken. Well, the Texas foster system is broken. The American foster system that I understand is subpar. So I'm not entirely sure why we would do that, other than maybe protecting these kids from becoming sex slaves or like being pressed into a gang. But even then, if the parents are contacting the United States going, we want our kids back, and they're actually the parents, then we should probably give them their kids back. So that's about the long and short of it for me.
So I totally believe that the Clintons run the Democrats. There's nobody, not even Obama, nobody's more important than the Clintons. If Bill Clinton is defamed for a second time for any reason, these Democrats will never recover for another 50 years. Because in the black community, Obama is no longer liked by the black men because of some of the stuff he said. And there's the Democrats literally have nobody. And I truly, honestly believe that Knucklehead Bill has some stuff that we're going to find out after his death. And they're doing everything they can to fight that image coming up. The thing about the Guatemala is a lot of these judges are out of control. I mean, a lot of these judges are, I don't know, they're just trying to insert themselves into a lot of stuff. At the end of the day, the Fed is going to reign supreme, or the Supreme Court is going to overrule said judge. I think people, as it relates to these Guatemalan kids, they're really doing this for optics. I don't think they care one way or another. I think they know that on the liberal side, there's a lot of bleeding hearts. There's a lot of small violins. And it's the same way we say, here's teacher number 1,467 accused of messing with these kids. When is that going to stop? Once we catch the woman, or sometimes the guy, we give them a nice ankle bracelet and send them home. So it's like, when do we start caring about these kids? I just see it's crazy what's going on right now.
Sorry, I have bad service. I'm driving. What I think is problematic. Excuse me. Hold on. Sorry. I think what is problematic are administration. As soon as they get in, they change blanketly a lot of policies that are harmful and not productive, in particular in this situation for the kids. So I don't know, for those that were in the room earlier, we had talked about ORR. That's basically when a child crosses the border, they have to be passed over into possession within 72 hours, and then they place them into like a foster home or a state-run home to protect them until they can be reunited with the sponsor, let's say a family member in the United States. So underneath the Biden administration, what they did is they actually stopped doing the DNA testing when they're doing reunification to identify. So when you heard stories about when they were looking for these kids, they would find them all at different odd addresses to include businesses, and they would have like 20 or 30 kids claiming one certain address. That itself is a big red flag. And since we have Homan in his role, he has worked with several different administrations, and he's able to determine like what works, what doesn't work. And that's the reason why we have the problem that we have right now. I get tired of every president, and to include Trump on things as well, even though I'm Republican, is the wide blanket of changes, and then the bad guys, and then in this particular, the sex traffickers of young children, benefit off of that. And I don't think the administration always does things to the betterment of society. They just do it to the betterment to an actual party. So that's how Brad kind of got onto this subject in the room. Notorious or Shipwrecked, did you guys want to, or Othello that just came up on stage, would you like to speak on the title? Okay, so what I'm going to do, since the stage is quiet and I'm coming in and out of service because I'm driving right now, I'm going to go ahead and close the room. It's been going for a couple hours, if I understand, unless there's a new person that would like to come up on stage. Anyone new that would like to come up on stage to speak on the topic? No. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close the room. Thank you all for joining.
You can do for his political career. So I'm not afraid of that. But we, Kajilubin, we want to know. Now we are still connected with them. Ajay is a Jilu, 100% Jilu. And that is why they are dragging these gentlemen
عشان شنو؟ هم قاعدين يسمعوا نفوسهم. اللي يجيبوا دول لانه ما يدي عملت ده يعني كورين وعدم عشان كده دايرين يقربوا.
Matianganuk. Ya, Matianganuk.
Yeah. Sorry.
Asma, ya do but Francis but they call up gonna give a just speech without you just start talking now.
Oh.
Yeah, play it again.
Did you share it or what is the
Same
room?
It's still running.
Okay. All right. Yeah, whenever you guys are okay with it, then you can.
No, go ahead. Then just listen to Francis but
No, whenever you guys have enough, just mute me because I'm doing something here.
Okay.
Been on death row, but
No, they're legitimate contractors with the United States government.
Yeah.
The Federal Reserve is legitimate contractors with the United States government to manage the economy of the United States.
They're essentially a cabal at the end of the day. They're a cartel.
Facts.
I didn't hear him. What did he say?
They're basically a cartel.
Okay, thank you. Maybe that's what I was trying to say. Okay, gotcha.
When the cartel became legitimate.
When they bailed the United States out banking 2 or 3 times. When they bailed the United States out in banking, see, it's funky how the money is gone. Since when they took the money off of actual gold and silver, tangible things, yes, and people started using these fiat notes. See, when you start using them fiat notes, they can print them out of thin air. They don't have to be leveraged or weighted against anything. And what happens is debt actually creates the money. Say a person wants to go in and get a mortgage for a house. Now let's take that and jump it up. A developer wants to go in and get a loan for the development of an entire community. Well, they're going to get the money at its highest value. Probably going to get the nastiest part of the interest rates. Depending on how they set it up, they'll be able to dump it off in about 2 years and walk away from the bank. Just depending on how they got it structured. When the money is borrowed, that's when the order goes up to the Treasury and they go, hey, we need this. This is what the money we're going to pull. And then the Federal Reserve will go, hey, print this. And the United States Mint is where the money is printed. But it comes through a request for debt. So literally every dollar that's produced is already in debt. Now, once they send it to the Mint, there's a particular fee that goes along with printing the dollar. So that's going to eat into its value even more. But when you get a lot of them at one time in one location, they have a little bit more leverage. So by the time they trickle down, they have lost even more of their value. Y'all understand what I'm talking about? Base economics, especially how it works over here in America. So what the Federal Reserve does is they control the interest rate. Now remember, they did a request for the loan. Nobody asked to borrow any money for the interest rate, did they? They never asked to create the money for the interest. So now you have the existence of, say, $50 million, but there's an interest rate attached to $50 million that nobody ever printed. So now, no matter how that $50 million is put out there, every one of those bills has a recoupable value that's going to be attached to it. That labor that the person's going to use in order to get it, that circulation and all of that stuff. And it gets broke down more and more as it gets further down the chain. So by the time it gets to the end user on the streets buying a pack of gum, that dollar is worth maybe about 37 cents.
Boom. And then also lawful. Let me add this caveat too. Far too often, too many people focus on the interest rate and where the interest rate is at, but they don't learn or focus enough on
the difference between interest rate and interest cost.
Oh, Lou, let me finish, because it ain't got nasty. The nastiest part of this is, remember, they never printed the money for the interest. So for every person that makes good on a debt plus interest, what has to happen? Other people have to default on their loans because the money to pay the interest doesn't exist. And if every person who pays off their loan with the full amount of interest, it automatically puts people in a default. It's automatic.
Man, I still ain't gonna trade capitalism for none of this shit a lot of these motherfuckers I heard today was talking about. Like, Eagle Hawk is my motherfucking homie. But boy, you benefit the most from capitalism. You benefit from the bureaucracy side of capitalism with them government contracts. But if we went back to the gold standard, nigga, all the money that we got in our pocket, boy, that shit would have been evaporated.
Oh, first off, it ain't worth shit. Why? Old boy did it. What you call it? D1 sat on stage and did an experiment, dude. He said, "Look, man, I'm gonna take this money. I'm gonna take this bill. I took a $20 bill." And he tore it up into little bitty pieces, right? He said, "Man, it just went from worth $20 to now worthless." Now, you can't do that same thing with gold or silver, because when you melt either one of them down, they still got value, don't they? You can hammer them out flat and they still got value, don't they? It's intrinsic value. Land, that always gonna have value, period. I don't care what you say, it's gonna have value. It may be a low one, it may be a high one, based on estimated on the development and its ability to provide certain things. However, it will always have value, won't it? Even if it's a swamp, as Walt did.
Now, this paper money, which is now digital currency, because you don't even have to have the paper money no more. So if you master the stock market, you make enough money to where you can pay your taxes and pay off your house to where you don't have a mortgage. And how valuable is this fake paper money now?
That's one of the best questions.
The beautiful thing about fiat notes is you can purchase tangibles with them. Close the loop, if you will. 12 USD 411. The United States Federal says how you supposed to spend fiat notes, Federal Reserve notes. Nobody looks at the law. Anybody want to pull that up? 12 USD 411.
I don't know, but you got me interested. I've been watching Suits. I'm gonna be a lawyer by the end of this year.
12 USD. Anybody want to pull that up? Pull that up.
12 USD 11.
411. Nope. 12 USD 411.
Okay. My bad.
Oh no, because you got to get the right law to get the right thing.
You gotta be clear, man. Okay.
Yeah, I think since 2020, we've been trying to figure out how to master this illusion, because everybody says it's illusion, and I said, well, that should be the easiest thing to master. So for me, the goal is to master the illusion and have the illusion serve me.
The issuance to reserve banks in the nature of obligation and redemption.
Yes, that's it. Please read what that's
Federal Reserve notes to be issued at discretion of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System for the purpose of making advances to the Federal Reserve banks through the Federal Reserve agents as hereinafter set forth, and for no other purpose are authorized.
Hold on, stop right there. Stop right there. Are you a Federal Reserve agent?
Please read.
Are you a Federal Reserve agent?
I would like to say yes.
Not yet. I don't know.
So they pay you a salary. You get a check from the Federal Reserve that shows that you are employee of the Federal Reserve. Are you a Federal Reserve agent?
Damn, Alpha Barkley asked James, had he ever been swallowed? God, now that's...
Oh, Lord, not the swallowed up. Look, you got to swallow up. Why you do that? Why you do that, sis?
Look, I didn't even hear
this. Say what it say, though. This the law. The law literally says. Look, the law says what it says. No, the law says exactly what it says, though, for real. It says for Federal Reserve agents as it hereinafter set forth and for no other purposes are authorized. The said note shall be the obligations of the United States and shall be receivable by all national and member banks of the Federal Reserve Bank and for all taxes, customs, and other public dues. Why are you paying taxes and customs?
Says here and
what do we say?
Man, we don't know shit. That shit. What y'all
The law just told you.
Wow.
Erica.
Okay, hold on. Let me finish reading the law and then we can just go all the way through. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand. They shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States and in the city of Washington, District of Columbia, or at any Federal Reserve Bank. So if they shall be redeemed in lawful money, are they lawful money?
I don't know. You got my brain hurt over here.
It says here, the notes shall be obligations of the United States and shall be receivable by all national and member banks and the Federal Reserve banks, and for all taxes, customs, and public dues, they shall be redeemed in lawful money on demand at the Treasury Department of the United States in the city of Washington, District of Columbia, or any Federal Reserve Bank. In plain English, this means the issuance of Federal Reserve notes, the paper money that we use every day, $1, $20, $100 bills, are literally issued at discretion of the Federal Reserve Board of Governors. The obligations of the United States are considered obligations of debts of the United States government. Legal tender use, Federal Reserve notes must be accepted by national banks, Federal Reserve banks, taxes, customs, and public dues. Redeemability, by law, they are redeemable in lawful money on demand at the U.S. Treasury or any Federal Reserve Bank. Historical context, the Federal Reserve Act of 1913.
Ask it, what is lawful money? Oh, shit. Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution. Ask it, what is lawful?
Gotcha.
31 U.S.C. 5112. Ask it, what is lawful money?
The kind that you take out your goddamn pocket and go spend. What y'all got going on here?
Yeah.
And Erica, you don't want to learn shit.
No, I don't want to learn today. I want to stay
Go
up
get you a
today.
damn plate and go eat something.
Nah, I'm hungry. I don't want to learn today either.
Yeah, you
Go eat you a sausage lick.
You gotta understand.
So does drug dealer money count?
Exactly.
Federal Reserve notes, correct?
Nah, that shit don't count, man. That's why, you know what I mean? People have...
Shut up, Kareem.
Nah, man, people have to shit, yo. Just talking doesn't mean you're right, but go ahead.
Go read the law yourself.
I understand, no problem, bro.
Man, go eat you some ice cream, man.
Well, no, this is the thing. You can go and you can literally go read the law yourself. That's the wonderful thing about the law. We don't really have to argue about it. It says what it says. You can interpret it however you want to. The question is, do you know what it says in the first place?
I hear you.
No, he too busy reading coloring books. Okay, so U.S. notes right there.
That nigga said he too busy reading coloring books. Hell no. Niggas said read coloring books.
When you said coloring books, oh my gosh, that's so
shut up, Kareem. You get your disability check yet? Did you get your disability check yet? No.
That's real money. That's
did you get your disability
let me ask
check?
you a question. How long you been in my ass? How long you been in my ass? Then get the fuck out of there, nigga. Weird.
That was some gay ass shit. That wasn't even.
Yeah, get the fuck out of my business, nigga. All in my asshole. Weirdo.
No, that's deep.
Not in your book.
Stop my pocket. Get out of my pocket. Get out of my pocket. All the dumb bodies. Get the fuck out of my pocket.
Oh, he's
Why is you gay? Why is you gay?
Get the fuck out of my pocket.
Why is you gay? Stop being gay.
Man, look at this nigga. First we go from second grade jokes to why is you gay? What's next?
Man, go read your
You kind of did that. You
Get
set
the
that
fuck out of here. I ain't joked once. What are you talking about?
You did say something about
You
your
said
booty
you told him to
hole.
get out of
Okay,
your
the
ass.
intelligence of the room is being shown. The intelligence of the room is being shown.
No, that was a little
mistake. Go ahead. Let's hear more. Let's hear more.
Let's not hear any of that.
Yeah, we showing
Let's
true
not hear any of
colors.
that.
Yep.
To be
Go ahead,
completely
Doc.
honest,
Get the true colors out. Let's see.
to be completely honest, there was a whole discussion going on, and you diverted that with that.
Thank you. I was talking about gold and silver and shit.
No, yeah, you diverted
It's
that with that
stupid ass
display,
talking
and
about
now act as though there's not going to be. Hold on, and then act as though it's not going to trigger anyone to respond. And I'm sure that probably was the nature of the reason why you were motivated to that. I could be wrong, but it served to divert from what was already being done. I'm sure you probably that might not have been the thing you wanted to hear or enjoy or felt as though nobody else needed to hear. I get that. The question is, did it accomplish what it was set out to do?
Hey, I accomplished everything I set out to do anytime I do it. Now I'm waiting for the interruption because it's months away. But all I was saying is getting on an app and talking as if you know something is different from fucking knowing it. That's all the fuck I'm saying.
Kareem.
So deal with it, man.
Let me finish, Kareem. Like I said, go get you some applesauce and go collect this Philly shit. It's the third. It's the third. So your disability check should be on the way.
Nigga.
It's ice cream, not applesauce.
You need ice cream, applesauce.
Jokes. I'm gonna have all of them.
Get you a coloring book and go watch Ren and Stimpy, okay? Go watch Ren and Stimpy. Go watch Ren and Stimpy. Go watch SpongeBob.
Nigga, you get it. It's a matter of time before I
And
kick.
don't worry, Big
what
Mama
I
will have
do.
your plate nice and
Yes.
ready for you the next
Shut
time.
the fuck up, Dad. No one can hear you.
The dysfunctionality.
It's dysfunctional.
The dysfunctionality.
That was extremely painful. And
That's
then
because
you
all
already
time
challenged.
high.
Like, let me finish, because he already challenged the talk, and then you holler explicit. Lord, that was painful.
Like I said, man, when it comes to this shit, like I said, matter of fact, I want to read this shit no more. Fuck it.
Okay, well, did you know there was an active shooter in Massachusetts?
Was he trans?
5'5" Asian man.
You what?
5'5" Asian man.
And what he shooting for?
This Asian guy just killed his wife and daughter in Georgia. Shot them in the face and then killed himself. What's going on with Asian people?
What's going on with these sleeper cells?
Oh,
Can we
and
do
then
a hate crime bill so we can make sure they don't touch us?
Hi, Moscow. Very good to meet you.
That ain't gonna happen.
they get stomped out. But there's also happening around the world. My mechanic just told me that the entire Jaguar catalog has been hacked in Europe, and now they can't get any car parts for any of their Land Rovers, Jaguars, and stuff like that. And so he was like, "This is but one of many other cases," and he was like telling me about some other shit. I'm just like, why aren't they reporting this shit? Like, there's so many cyber attacks that are happening, like in they're small, but there's the frequency is really high all of a sudden, and they're not reporting them. So I'm starting to to take your money out the banks. I don't know if it's safe in your investment accounts either at this point. Buy some gold, buy some silver. Weren't they just talking about that? What's real money? At this point in time, I think I'm about to buy a little bit of gold.